lives in flooding are almost always trying to drive in their car. Ones that stay home get wet, but we stay alive, guys.
All right, all right. We know we're going to get through it.
Yeah.
We always do. We always manage, and that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Right now in KHOU 11 News, we are managing with the weather.
Yeah.
We're going to explain to you folks what our situation is, because I know if you're just tuning in, you're like, it looks a little different. Where are they this morning?
Yeah, so what we've done is, because of the flooding in Buffalo Bayou, there's actually water coming into our studio, which is on the first floor of the station. So we had to adjust, bring the cameras upstairs. This is a conference room normally, and now it's a makeshift studio. At the moment, we are not able to go to our crews who are out all over the place to bring you live reports because technically we're just not there yet as we transition to the conference room. But we'll do that for you shortly. We can check in with David Paul, as he just did, who'll give us updates on what this rain is doing from Harvey. But in the meantime, and probably for quite some time, we're going to be up here in the conference room to bring you the news. It ain't pretty, but it's effective.
Right, exactly. We brought the basics up here, and we're bringing you the information that you need to know. The information still gets to us the same. It's just the setting is different here. We still have all of our reporters live out in the field. We're working on the logistics with them and connecting with them.
We'll get to them shortly.
We're going to go to them shortly. Like I said, we have reporters all across the city, as far down south as well into Galveston. So we've got you covered.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lost Begotten channel. I was just taken aback. I'm supposed to be asleep. I just got freaking done streaming. They said the reservoir at the Brays Bayou in Houston is about to overflow, and they're going to start letting water out. And it's been a long time since they had to do that. This is another Oroville Dam type situation. Only this isn't the mountains and a small town. This is fucking Houston, Texas. And Brays Bayou, I used to fish in it when I lived there back in the late 80s, early 90s. It goes right through the middle of everything. Right now, these people are broadcasting from an upper level conference room because fucking Houston is flooding. And this reservoir was built because of the last time they had almost this much rain, not quite this much rain, decades ago. Entire families in their houses got washed away, all up and down the Texas coast, and all up and down the bayou, the several bayous that were going through there. Hell, they just looks like they just cut off. So
Seeing them drive through the area.
okay,
So
they're
we'll
back
try and
on.
go back.
Must have just been a glitch. They're trying to get it together there, and I'm going to go ahead and put them back on in a minute. I just wanted to note that this is some serious crap. And meanwhile, Trump's using this opportunity to sneak by a bunch of bullshit. And you people are fucking covering for him. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Yeah, because there's no way a stream like this goes up and I get one fucking person broadcasting. I did shit like this about the same kind of subject matter last year, and I got 77,000 views. Okay, come on, one person. That's that. Look, 3,000 subscriber channel, one person watching. Breaking news. Certainly not attention getting. So, anyways, getting back off my soapbox. Sorry about that. I've already got, I believe, one person has lost their life. just because of the flood, the storm, the hurricane. That happens. That's natural. But it's not something you make a mockery of by trampling on the Constitution on a Friday night news dump. That's all I'm saying. And, you know, I do a lot to try to keep people safe. That's it. Got a problem with that? Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. You know. Hera. So anyways,
Buffalo Bayou was still within its
see how it's going on
and,
Buffalo and Braes
that's
Bayou
one of
down
those
there.
things where- and something that we can only hope continues to happen. What do you have there, Lynn?
So this is these are pictures. Ben, if you can you square up on this? This is from Twitter where we're getting pictures from different reporters. This is down in Galveston from Jason Miles. Like I said, it's not the prettiest, but we're doing the best that we can here, folks, until we can get to our reporters who are out at various locations. This is down in Galveston. You can see the rough surf. Things started to clear up down there last night, and then everything changed all over the Houston area. It got much worse. Here, this is Scott Noone took this picture. There's a resident seeking shelter under a bridge. If you can see that shot.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. In between bringing us their live reports on air, they're also on social media. Our reporters here on Twitter and on Facebook posting when they can. We want to try again reaching out to Janelle Bluda this time around and see if she is there for us. Janelle, are you there?
I am, guys. Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm hoping you can hear me. If you can, I'm gonna just start here. So we are out here at Highway 45 and Wayside, and this is where they have 45 shut down at completely. You can see on top those cars that are parked. They have been here for hours, as we have as well. Police have 45 shut down at Griggs Road. They say the feeder road after that up until Beltway 8 is actually full of water, so people not.
Morning, Maximo. So the deal this morning is Braes Bayou and Brazos Bayou are two major drainage canals that go through Houston, Texas. And their reservoirs are now overflowing, and they are starting to have to release water into fucking Houston. Houston is a city, despite common demographic claims, Houston is a city of like millions and millions of people. I mean, you can drive 73 miles straight on a highway and still be in Houston. And you will not see one tiny bit of space that is not jam-packed full of fucking people. I think it's one of the biggest cities on the planet, and I think it's got, well, not only a very large illegal resident population, but a very large, I don't know, secretive, unaccounted for population. People who maintain residencies other places and have a working house in Houston, something, I don't know. But there are an ungodly amount of people in Houston, Texas. I lived there there and in a city right outside of Houston. About 10 years. And if this bayou overflows, it's going to be like it was back in the 60s. And right now, the news crew, KHOU, Channel 11 down there, I think it's a local CBS affiliate. It's like our Channel 9 up here in Baton Rouge. Their fucking studio flooded. And they were all like panicked and going up into the studio. And right as I started the stream, I was rushed because I was trying to, fumble the shit together and get back online after checking into what was going on. Like, it's getting this bad this quick. They've already had over 30 inches of rain. And right when I put the stream on was when the guy was sitting there saying, "Listen, don't panic. We'll get through this. Everything's gonna be okay." Like, the weather guy is like, "Just make sure you have enough food to survive a couple days. You'll be fine." Like, oh, when people start talking like that, shit is getting real. So, I'm gonna put it back on here so we can listen to these interviews.
Water was too high, so I had to reverse off and exit real quick, and then I headed down this way and been stuck here ever since. It's almost about 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. What have you been doing since then?
Listen to radio, chit-chatting here with some of the guys, girls I met around here, and just trying to kill time until the water gets out of here.
Have you lived in Houston all your life?
Yes.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No. Usually, when I get off work, usually it passes by. So
I think I went to school with that guy.
Not this bad, not this fast.
Yeah. You have any advice for people?
Stay at home, unless you got to work then.
Stay at home. Yeah, and guys, that's exactly what police are telling people here. There's no reason to come out. I mean, obviously, we weren't immune either. We're stuck here just as well. Even if you head out, you never know where you're going to end up or how long you'll be stuck, just like these guys. And it's obviously also not safe, like you saw with the woman in her car there. So, just be safe out there, guys. Lynn, Mia?
We're listening to folks who are talking down on the southeast side, I-45 and west side. What is encouraging is there's no rain there, and that is truly a blessing, because all we've seen all night long for hours and hours is a bunch of rain. We want to let you know, as Mia holds up a picture
Yeah,
from...
this is an image, one of our viewers who tweeted this, and actually I think this one is from Kevin Reese himself. That's not a viewer, that's one of our great reporters out there on the ground in Dickinson along I-45 that's impassable, and he's showing us the conditions here since daylight. So just an area, let me see if I get the screen, there we go. Just one of the areas that's impassable you need to watch out for. We've heard a lot that's going on in Dickinson. A lot of folks there who've taken on water in their homes, and even some potential rescues out there as well. So you've got some new information, right?
Here's the details from the U.S. Coast Guard. They are using 5 helicopters for search and rescue missions in the greater Houston area. We heard the police chief talk about the possibility of the Coast Guard coming in with Coast Guard. So they have 5 helicopters. Now, if you need help, you need rescuing, if you're on a roof, for example, either call 911 if you need rescuing, or you can call the Coast Guard directly. Their number is 281-464-4851. Again, the direct number to the Coast Guard, 281-464-4851, or you can call 911. I know in some areas it has stopped raining on the southeast side, so if you're in that area and it's clear and you need rescuing off a roof, then the Coast Guard perhaps will be able to get up in the air and come get you. They've got 5 choppers.
Yeah, that is for rescue if you are up on the roof.
Yes.
Obviously.
Not to pluck you from a car, it has to be something that is life-threatening.
Right, life-threatening. And please make sure you contact the number that Lynn just gave to you. Once again, 281-464-4851. We know we've seen out there on Facebook and Twitter people saying National Guard is coming. Call this number. Folks, we looked into that. That was false information. So you want to make sure that once again, if you know someone who is in need of rescuing, and we're talking about from the rooftop by the U.S. Coast Guard, they either need to dial 911 or 281-464-4851. Those are the numbers to call.
Okay, again, we're coming to you from our second floor conference room because of flooding down in the studio. You can continue to follow us on KHOU.com, right here, of course, on air, on our YouTube channel, or on Facebook or our KHOU11 mobile app. You can do all of that. We're getting this information now from Missouri City. They're asking residents to shelter in place because the Brazos River is expected to reach record flood levels. However, no evacuations at this time in Missouri City, but they do not want you going out. They want you to shelter in place. That goes along with Dickinson as well as Pasadena. They've ordered the same thing there.
I was showing you the photo earlier from Twitter. Kevin Reese had posted, he's down in Dickinson along I-45. The Dickinson Bayou, I believe, is where he last was. Let's check back in with him. Kevin?
Hey guys, we are in Dickinson. We are now, don't ask me how I did it, but we are on the north side of Dickinson Bayou. We're standing in the northbound lanes of I-45, where we do have some active rescue operations underway. They are, folks from Galveston County are putting some rescue boats in the water, as you can probably see after this truck moves out of the way. We also have a couple of airboats that are available, and some traffic now getting through a little bit here in the northbound lanes of I-45. That's the traffic you see passing us right now. But these are guys from the county here who are going to put these boats in the water. They're using an off-ramp as a boat ramp right now to put this small aluminum boat in the water to work on rescues down over in here. We look at where they're headed. For example, if you look at that storage business over here, there's a man standing there. It is surrounded by water. And as this truck goes by, you can see that it is even deeper as you go into Dickinson proper. This is the exit, I believe, to 516. We're 1 mile from 646 in Santa Fe. I want to go back to the south, Josh, if we can. Now you're looking south in the northbound lanes, and all of that water you see, that is Dickinson Bayou. It is only about a foot deep on this side in places. Some cars, some people in big trucks are navigating, making their way through. But on the opposite side, those are the southbound lanes, and in some places there, it's as much as 3 feet deep and impassable on the southbound side. Matter of fact, let's sweep all the way over this way, and you can see a business across here on the other side of I-45 as we move our camera. Hang with us. We'll show you what it looks like. This is a business on the south side of I-45, just a mile south of the Santa Fe exit at FM 646. And we can probably, Josh, I don't know if you can pan left from where you are, but as we look south on I-45, down, this is the direction of Galveston, this is the direction of Hitchcock, and the lake on the right, those are the southbound lanes of I-45. A few people, the guy driving away from us right now is driving the wrong direction. Actually, let's look at something else over here. There's a Coast Guard helicopter up in the air. It is in the direction of headed toward Texas City. They've been running back and forth as if looking for places where they might need to execute rescues. Just to give you an idea of how deep this water might be, we're standing on I-45 right next to the freeway. There is deep water from Dickinson Bayou. We can only imagine at this point how deep it is, where that Coast Guard helicopter is looking to see if there are people who need to be rescued. Right now, they're stopping and appearing to hover at one spot there in the Dickinson area. This would be along the path of Dickinson Bayou, where there are plenty of homes. But that's kind of the stuff that is going on here right now. Coast Guard helicopter there in the distance, about a half mile away from us, and more boats being launched over here by Galveston County Sheriff's Department as they try to get as many boats in the water as they can, boats like this and airboats standing by, so that they can get out into the community to see who does indeed need to be rescued. But again, in terms of rescues, that's underway. In terms of traffic in this area of I-45, you will not get anywhere north and south past Dickinson, whether you're coming from Galveston, whether you're coming, trying to go south from Houston. We're going to keep our eye for the moment on that Coast Guard helicopter. We probably have a pretty good shot with our extender on our lens to see exactly what they're doing over there, because they are hovering in one spot. And this is an area, the angle that you're looking at right now is you are looking to the, all right, hatch is open. It looks like a rescue may indeed be underway. This will be along Dickinson Bayou. The camera angle you're looking at, we're looking toward the east, toward the ship channel in that direction. And we'll keep our eyes on it at this distance to see if anything is happening at all. But we do know clear evidence that multiple rescues are underway here. We know they're happening in other parts of the Houston area, but here in Dickinson, where if Dickinson Bayou has completely blocked both lanes of I-45, we know that there are indeed very deep flooding problems in the Dickinson neighborhoods as well. We'll keep watching the situation here, talking with people who have been brought out so far by the Galveston County Sheriff's Department in big trucks. As far as the Coast Guard, we'll keep this live picture up if you guys want to talk about some of the other situations, but we're kind of losing this Coast Guard helicopter below the tree line. Stand by. Basket being lowered by this Coast Guard helicopter. So what you're watching is a rescue underway. We do not have information at this point exactly where in Dickinson they are, but Dickinson Bayou, if you're looking to the east, it is running this direction toward the ship channel. So there would be multiple homes and businesses in the area where that Coast Guard helicopter is hovering right now. We're trying to get our eyes on it with photographer Josh Stephen to see exactly what is happening as they drop below the tree line. But this is the small measure of chaos here in Dickinson that I know is being repeated all across the Houston viewing area. And as we see some of this car traffic now coming through in the northbound lanes, cars are coming through one at a time. The only good news I can give you is that there is evidence from the debris line that we have seen in both the north and southbound lanes of I-45 that the water was deeper at one point and has actually gone down just a little bit. Of course, that's because it hasn't rained in, say, the last 30 minutes, but here it comes again. We don't know exactly if the water is indeed completely going down, if it's going to come back up again. We are getting a great deal of police activity now here, standing in the northbound lanes of I-45, as they're kind of using this as a launching area, using an off-ramp to get boats into the water. And as we continue to watch this Coast Guard helicopter hovering over a home along Dickinson Bayou. We are assuming, and actually down here at the storage business, if it's worth seeing, Josh, we now have another guy who's trying to fire up 2 Sea-Doos or jet skis that were at the storage business. Do you still have eyes on the helicopter?
Yes.
We're going to keep our eyes on the helicopter. If you guys need to talk over us, Mia and Lynn, let me know. But we will keep this shot up of this Coast Guard helicopter as traffic is now starting to come through in the northbound lanes of I-45, but only one lane and cars that are daring to get through about a foot of water. Back to you guys.
hundreds of rescues unfolding right now, at least in terms of people making phone calls. The Coast Guard will get to you as soon as they possibly can. They have 5 choppers now up and ready and available and definitely necessary.
All right, was visiting with Blake Matthews while we were watching the Coast Guard take action there. So we're seeing a lull in the rain, and
Hallelujah.
Blake joins us now with some new observations. We sure are hoping there's something of promise here.
We are looking for any silver lining that we can, believe me. And as you can see, I've gotten out of the suit now. I'm actually standing here barefoot, if you can believe that, because the water downstairs is rising pretty rapidly. So again, water all over the building in the first floor. We're up on the second floor. And what we're looking at here is a satellite image. And what's really interesting, and David Paul pointed this out, our chief meteorologist, there appears to be 2 circulations. So a tropical system is stacked. It's stacked up into the atmosphere. You have a low-level circulation, you have a mid-level circulation, you have an anticyclone on the top. But watch what happens is the storm now has moved inland. There appears the circulation seems to have broken off. The top part of the circulation seems to have broken off and pushed right over Houston. That's really bad, obviously, because we've gotten a lot of rain from it. But the good news is, if there's any silver lining, we're hoping that circulation continues to pull on off towards the north and east, in essence giving us a small break, at least for a couple of hours, until the next band of rain reforms overnight tonight. So again, if there's any silver lining, it looks like we will get a light break. I don't think it's going to stop raining completely, but I do think that the rain totals, or the rain rates, the rainfall rates will come down a little bit, hopefully more into the 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain per hour instead of the 3, 4, 5, and 6 inch rain amounts that we've seen all morning long. David's working the radar for me. You can see we still have that tornado watch in effect indefinitely here across southeast Texas. Obviously, the rain's still coming down extremely hard. Earlier this morning, we were talking about the different bayous that were getting ready to overflow and the creeks and whatnot. We can't keep up. They're rising so fast. By the time we put the information down, it's old information. So essentially, if you live near a creek, you live near a river, you live near a bayou, assume that it is either at bank full or getting ready to spill over, or has done so a long time ago. So again, that includes everybody from Spring Creek, Cypress Creek out of its banks now, as well as Spring Creek. Most of the bayous and rivers inside the city of Houston, that includes White Oak, Braze, Sims, Clear Creek, getting down towards northern Galveston County, where they have picked up 24 inches of rain. And that was as of about 2 hours ago. I haven't looked since, because we've been trying to get everything upstairs. But I can tell you, looking at the forecast models over the next 3 to 4 days, guys, it's bad. It's bad news, because okay, so let's show the RPM right here. So starting, this is at noon today. So we'll go ahead and move forward into time. And Dave, let's do this really slowly here. And you'll notice there's a little bit of our break, if that's what you want to call it. Now, there is heavy rain bands still sitting over the city. Now, keep in mind, this is computer model simulation here. So the rain band might be a little further to the west. It might be a little further to the east. But the bottom line is it does look like we're still going to have some rain pushing into the area. But you can see that there are breaks in the rain, and that's what we're looking for. That's what we're praying for here. Any break that we can get will certainly help, but more rain building out to the west, and it looks like that rain is going to be with us over the course of the next couple of days. Okay, thank you. So as we push forward into time, this is 8:30 this evening, 8:45. You can see the rain redeveloping here. And this is going to stick with us. And as long as that circulation remains to the west of Houston, which it is anticipated to, and we'll show you the forecast from the National Hurricane Center coming up momentarily, we're going to continue to see that southeasterly flow coming in right off the Gulf of Mexico and enhanced by all the dynamics that are sitting right over the top of the Houston area. As we get into midnight Monday here, you'll see that we are getting more breaks down here in Brazoria County and of course the Fort Bend County. The rain tends to move to the north, but then it redevelops to the south. So again, there's just not a whole lot here that is good about this situation. We've got multiple days of rain still ahead of us, and we're just going to have to get through it. You know, we got through Tropical Storm Allison, we got through Hurricane Alicia, we got through Hurricane Ike. We're going to get through Hurricane Harvey. And again, here's the official track from the National Hurricane Center. Still tropical storm, winds of about 45 miles an hour, but obviously it has transitioned now more from a wind threat to a flood threat. And here's the track. So this is as of 7 o'clock this morning. Quickly becoming a depression, getting very close to moving back out over the open waters of the Gulf, but officially it does not. And then it hooks back to the north, right through Fort Bend County, right up the west belt, it looks like, up through the woodlands and up through Huntsville. So once that center of circulation gets back over the top of us, if we could go back to that satellite, David, I really think that may be a pretty decent scenario. scenario. And the reason why I say that, so if we go back to the satellite, remember the center of circulation going to move right over the city of Houston. By the way, that's Thursday. So there's the center of circulation. What's one thing you don't see, guys? Rain. No rain. It's all off to the east. So I think, at least right now, the best case scenario is you want that center to be right over Houston. Sure. This is one of those situations where the storm has decoupled, it is decaying, it's dying out, and now most of the rain and most of the upper level winds are pushing those thunderstorms on off towards the east. So, now granted, it's Thursday, okay, we still have 4 days to go, but if we can get to Thursday, I think that we will see that circulation push right through the city, giving all of our weather to Louisiana. Of course, we don't want to wish that on our friends to the east, but we need a break, and we need a break really badly.
All right, Blake, thank you so much. It is daylight now in Houston, where we'll be able to really see all the damage and the abandoned cars today and a lot of rescues. You saw the Army or the Coast Guard helicopter a little bit earlier down in Dickinson. And there are a lot of shelters now available. I want to tell you about some of them. There are 4 Salvation Army shelters, and we are told they are not turning away the homeless. They have opened an emergency shelter at 2732 Cherry Brook Lane. Okay, that's one of 4 Salvation Army shelters. The Islamic Society of Greater Houston is now telling us they have 3 mosques that are open as shelters. There's one at 17250 Coventry Park. That's in the northwest side, Al Mustafa Mosque. On the south side, 610 Brand Lane. Hope you're writing this down if you need help. And on the southeast side, Abu Bakr, that's the mosque at 8830 Old Galveston Road. 3 mosques available for shelters in various parts of Houston if you need it.
All right, closely approaching 8 a.m. It's 7:59 right now. A lot of you just waking up and getting a look out your windows, out your doors, at what's going on out there. Many of you know because you have stayed up through the night with us. But if you're heading outdoors and there is water on the ground, and even if there hasn't been water, if there looks like there's been some kind of damage, you need to be extra careful. Watch where you are walking because of power lines, and you don't know where you might have a live wire there on the ground, and I think you know what would happen if you come across one. So you need to take extreme precaution as you get up and you get moving this morning and you head outdoors.
As you get out and walk around today, the Houston that you see today is not the Houston you saw yesterday because of all the rain, some of the wind, but mostly just a deluge of rain, like almost like we've never seen before. And as you heard Blake say, we've got a couple days left. Let's go to Scott Miller now. He's on the southeast side at Sagemont, Beltway 8 near Beamer. Scott, are you there?
I am, Len. If anything really drives home what this flooding event is all about, I want you to take a look at this. This family left their home at about 7 o'clock last night when the floodwaters started coming up. Here they are. This is everything they were able to grab. They were just able to get out with this, their pets, the pool that they used to float some pets back here with them. This is Chris. Chris, tell us a little bit about this. How fast did this flood come up? How fast did this come up?
The water came up probably 45 minutes, and it was knee deep. That's the entire time we were trying to get stuff. Sorry. We were trying to get what we could out of the house. And we went to the neighbor's house. They were trying to go up in the attic. We couldn't get all of them up there, so we went ahead and went across and waited out and came over here.
And all 6 of you were able to get out and just basically arms full of whatever you could get?
You got it. That's what we did. Yeah.
How long have you been sitting here now, waiting?
About 11. I think it's probably 10, 11 when we finally got here. Yeah. And it took a little while to get out of the house. And we stood at the neighbors for a while and tried to look down the road, see if we could get it that way, but the current was too high. So we came back and then we finally trudged our way through this way. We had to knock down a fence to get out.
about probably a quarter mile to get here to the bridge to some sort of higher ground to safety.
Right. When we crossed the road, it's about chest deep. It was about waist deep most of the way until we got like a little closer to us. Then it went up a little higher again, and then went down. We finally made it to the the little overpass over here, and after that it was not too bad.
And you said you've lived in this neighborhood for, what, 10 years now? Have you ever seen anything like this? You've been here for Memorial Day flooding. You've been here for Tax Day flooding. Is this one just different?
Oh, yeah, it's way worse. For us, at least, yeah. The roads have flooded a couple times a year, but normally it doesn't come out of the road much. Yeah, this one was way bad. I think when we bought the house, they told us that Allison got in a little bit. This was way worse than what they described.
I mean, talk about, I imagine there had to be some heartbreaking decisions made on the way out of the door. What are you going to grab, and what's it going to look like when you get back?
Right. We tried to grab some photos, as much as we could stick in the waterproof bags. Obviously the animals we had to get out. And then we moved as much stuff up high as we could, but the way they were talking, it got door height, so there's probably nothing in the house that's any good anymore. So we lost lots of pictures and other things that comic books, I know, but all kinds of books and all. So it's not good.
Obviously, a lot of what I assume neighbors here all kind of in the same situation. I mean, what's been the talk? How unbelievable has it been to sit here for hour after hour after hour? Not only watch more people come out, but that rain just keep coming down.
Yeah, it wasn't very good to watch it, keep coming down. I mean, it was good to see that they were getting people out with the airboat and the big trucks.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we are watching KHOU in Houston, and they are getting where they can to interview people who have gotten out of the rapidly rising waters. And this is due to the topping of the Braze, I've counted so far, Braze, Dickens, and Brazos Bayou reservoirs are at their limits and overflowing, and they've had to begin, I mean, basically it's like they're not even there now. They've had to begin releasing water, and it's just all pouring into Houston now. So the local news station there, KHOU, has had their studio flooded and has moved into their upper floor conference room, and it was pretty dramatic seeing them all panicked. And
the weatherman doesn't even have his shoes. He was in a suit, and he changed into khakis and a polo and was barefoot.
And they were just setting up. I mean, they were just like pulling up chairs to a flat screen so they could have radar behind them, and like they were all still getting their microphones on and stuff, sitting there trying to give people weather updates. It's bad when the news station gets flooded. That's all I'm saying. So these people right here are under an overpass. Trying to make out where it is and listen in and see if they say.
Flood water here at Sagemont. If you take a look back over this way, you may be able to see. I mean, this entire neighborhood is just underwater at this point. We have no idea how deep any of this goes. This, of course, is the feeder road for Beltway 8. It's underwater.
So Sagemont's up on the northwest side of Houston.
Exits are blocked because they do lay low, standing water on them. Cars just left behind. Parking lots here at these gas stations are just overflowing with people at this point. People just basically waiting, trying to figure out where to go next. You can see the same thing over here. If you look down Beaver Road, a few minutes ago we saw flashing lights down there, that's a rescue boat. They just put in the water down there, hoping to get into these neighborhoods, get some of these people who haven't been as lucky, haven't been able to get out of their house, haven't been able to get someplace high, someplace dry. And this is more than likely a scene we're going to see over and over and over throughout the day here in the Sagemont area. Guys, you're back in the studio. Toss it back to you.
Up the door and losing much of what they own is just heartbreaking. But they had to get away.
And that shows just how desperate they got and how bad the situation was,
Yeah.
where they were out in Sagemont. They felt like they had to leave their home. They started seeing the water rush in, and that place of shelter for them, the closest shelter was under an overpass, and they weren't the only family out there. There were others gathered too. You know, we've been constantly getting information in. We heard from Francisco Sanchez. He's the spokesperson for the Harris County Office of Emergency Management. Multiple rain gauges collect more than a foot of rain in just the last 6 hours. He tweeted this. We heard from him. We're also hearing from the Rosenberg Police Department, road closures. We want to let you know about those because I know a lot of you will see daylight and think you can be on the move if there's not flooding just outside your door, but around the corner down the street. We know that's definitely a possibility. In the case of Rosenberg, we're talking about, this is Highway 59, I-69 at Reading Road, and then Highway 90 at Highway 36. Those are areas you need to watch out for. We were watching the Coast Guard with a helicopter rescue out in Dickinson. Our Kevin Reese was following that. We want to check back in with him to see what's going on out there. Kevin?
Hey, I want to show you a new scene. This is Dickinson Bayou. At least as Dickinson Bayou runs completely down FM 517, we are standing on I-45 looking down. This is FM 517, which is a river now as it races off to the Houston Ship Channel. This is a road I've been on too many times to count. And as you look in the distance, well, the traffic lights somehow still work, but you can see all the way down the street here just how deep this water is by the cars that are parked along the curb, the cars that have not been swept away, but that are still there. When we came to you live a little while ago, the Coast Guard helicopter that was hovering overhead, this is the area, these are the neighborhoods that they were working in and that they will continue to work in. Also, several airboats have now gone into this neighborhood. Several other boats from the Galveston County Sheriff's Department have also gone in, and the evacuations are underway right now. We hope to be on one of those boats in a little while, but this is an amazing scene. Water several feet deep on FM 517. You're looking into Dickinson. We can only imagine just how deep the water is all the way back in there. Now, Josh, I want to break off and let's come on over here. I want you to look north on I-45. Go ahead, I got you. North on I-45, and this is also where Dickinson Bayou is spilling into and blocking both lanes of I-45. Rescues also underway there by the cars that were stranded, and people are stranded in their cars here. But if you can see in the distance, this is the second section that is completely blocked by the overflow of Dickinson Bayou. Both sides of I-45, you're not going to get past this. We can see some cars with their lights flashing. There's another car sideways deep into the water out there. And this is where people are stranded trying to get to and from the Dickinson area. Every now and then, I don't think I see people walking. People are walking. All right, show me. My photographer, Josh Stevens, can see a little farther than I can with his lens, but people are walking in this water out here. They've got cars stranded. They're trying to get out. Some of the rescues have been happening here. Again, you're looking at I-45, looking north toward downtown Houston, with water very deep on these cars, water up to the chest on people who are trying to wade through and get out. The but the Galveston County Sheriff's Office has been trying to rescue people from here, as well as trying to rescue folks from Dickinson proper, which is even deeper than where those folks are right now. This is where we're going to be stuck for a while, because rescue's happening here on I-45, rescue's happening in Dickinson. They're also going to be happening on the Santa Fe side as well. So the water raging from Dickinson Bayou is one of many, many problems that are out here, and it's going to be this way for quite some time. We'll give you updates as we talk to some of these folks who are being rescued when they come out. We'll let you know more as we get back to you guys.
Earlier, the Coast Guard has 5 choppers that they are using as part of the rescues. We heard the Houston Police Chief, Art Acevedo, tell us earlier this morning that 25 to 30 boats for rescue will be coming in to help from San Antonio. They were on their way a few hours ago. Hopefully they are here. You heard Kevin mention the airboats. It is just an army of people going in to help those who are stranded, whether they're on the roads or whether they're in homes with high water. It is a very difficult situation that they are facing. And not only is there trouble out there, but we've got our own issue.
So, the Merface is getting that I'm starting to worry look.
Well, we have a lot of friends in the area, and like we have a lot of friends from high school who, after Katrina, decided let's go to Texas, it's safer.
Right.
You have family in Texas, on both sides of your family in Texas. So yes, and you know, one of your family members told me, and this is only day 1. And that just sent me into a roaring panic. And telling me that it reminded her of New Orleans during Katrina, which we are still scarred from.
What she meant by that, too, was how little warning they gave. Now, all the weather channels were saying it might reach Category 3.
And they said that it was...
And I said, mega storm.
And they said that by Sunday it would be moving back. It hasn't fucking budged since yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was supposed to be over here by Sunday.
Yeah, like we were supposed to be getting it, and now they're saying that we're not getting shit.
And I said, no, that fucker's gonna loop around, and it's gonna go up Houston, and it's gonna come back out to fucking sea. So y'all this is going to be a month-long event, people. Okay? This could be longer than that. I called it. They didn't. Why the fuck don't people listen to me more? I'm just trying to save people's lives here, okay? But you got assholes suppressing my broadcast because they're fucking Russian agents. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cap. I want to tick down from 3 to 1 again on the views. Maximo, you still hanging out with us? I was just asking the Merface before I put the camera back. She wanted me to stop it. Kind of a tough question. At the same time, you know, no matter how much your kid deserves a spanking, the phrase is that it hurts you more than it hurts them. I don't know if that's true, but it still hurts.
And that's why we bought a CRV. No, I was watching a CRV going through those waters. It
Oh,
made
yeah.
it. It made it.
Oh yeah, CRV's gonna make it through water every time, especially an all-wheel drive one. That shit'll float like a boat.
That was a newer one, like a 13.
Yeah, I
no,
bet.
16 maybe.
I bet the newer ones can handle some water. Honda is a continual
Hey,
design
Joey.
improver. And Acura is a continual design perfecter. But anyways, morning, Joey. I had like a little saying I'd thought of. Can't quite remember what it was. I was hoping I had written it down in my notes, but I didn't. But that's okay, because I got a free Rod's Food t-shirt. Okay. Let me stop it.
Last night I saw an interview they were doing with a woman in Texas, somewhere closer to where it hit, where the eye actually hit, who evacuated with her family to a hotel room from their house, and she was supposed to be scheduled to have a C-section on Tuesday. See, that's a little terrifying.
Braze and Brazos run right by the medical center. The big old Houston Medical Center.
Now, can I crack like a kind of sarcastic joke real quick? Or is it not appropriate?
Who's ever gonna stop you?
I don't know. So...
You're asking?
For those of you who are coming to Louisiana from Texas, learn to drive, please. Because that was some crazy shit y'all put us through yesterday.
Right.
And Friday.
What a bunch of fucking morons.
Like, it's not bad weather here. You don't have to fucking, dart in and out of traffic with your big fucking trucks, okay? Like, shit. We have a bad enough problem with the people who drive around here, and then y'all coming in driving 10 times crazier. At least we know how to anticipate the people around here. Fuck. And it was always, we'd see them darting behind us, and then they'd pass and dart, and it's like, Texas, Texas, Texas. Oh, that one's Louisiana, but Texas, Texas, Texas. Shit.
Driving like I used to. Shit.
The hell's wrong with you? Not that, I did.
Yeah, but I did it in a fucking sports car, okay?
Me too. I had my Mustang.
If you have a sports car, that's different. Mustang's a sports car.
It was a Mustang GT, thank you very much. It's a 5.0, okay? It was a
not
freaking
a
sports car. It was the
It's
best one
got-
I could get my hands on,
It's
damn
got
it.
rear suspension from the 1830s. It's not a sports car.
It was what I could afford at 18 years old, okay? Sheesh,
It's got like
it was either that or a Saturn Ion, okay? So I think I made the better choice there.
It's got like a 15-200 weight distribution.
So I still got from Baton Rouge to New Orleans in 35 minutes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
At, 2 a.m. when nobody else was on the road.
Yeah. It's a car that feels fast because it's low. But it's a muscle car. That's all it is. Just a muscle car. It's a good muscle car. But it ain't no fucking sports car. It's not meant for handling. You can't stop and handle on a dime in it. It handles better than like pickup trucks, but especially in the 5.0, the brakes, skittish.
And that's why you have an e-brake.
So you can lose control completely. Spin to your death.
With style. Says the person.
That
who,
way, when you get to see St. Peter or whoever the fuck it's supposed to be, you'll be so dizzy you'll just fall over and he'll feel bad for you.
Says the person who spun his Integra around and around from one end of the interstate to the other.
That was a 300ZX.
Whatever.
And yeah, I did that because a fucking Mustang ran me off the road.
It wasn't me. I was always very responsible with my speed and my Mustang. If there were lots of people, unless you were driving like a slow moron, I was respectful. Now if it was 2 a.m. and nobody was on the road, then, you know, fuck it. I was flying.
It was a Mustang with an asshole being more of an asshole because a real sports car came near him. And that makes them automatically think about why they bought the car.
Can I ask another question that's more related to the storm? Don't they tell you that when there's major flooding going on, that under an overpass is not the place to stop and wait shit out?
Right.
And there are tons of people under the frickin' overpass?
Yeah, that mostly applies to tornadoes, but these people have just lost their homes. They don't really have a whole lot of a choice. They're just trying to seek shelter from the rain.
But they just said a whole bunch of places are open and taking evacuees.
How are they going to get there?
That poor guy. Have they been on all night? That guy looks like he hasn't slept. Like,
yeah,
he looked
and
like
they just got flooded out of their studio.
He
These are
just-
the people that were taking that were trying to get their microphones on.
He just looked like he started to fall asleep sitting up a second ago. Like his eyes started to droop a little bit, and then he opened.
Yeah,
them
he's
real
been on
wide.
for 48 hours. He's been on for a couple days now. He was on last night, or the night before last night. It's still yesterday to me.
Can we hear what they're talking about?
All right, so we're gonna put this back on here and see what this update's about. Really?
6 months worth of rain here in Houston. Our average rainfall for the entire year, 49 inches at Bush Intercontinental Airport. So we're picking up almost a full year's worth of rain. And I say that projecting out towards Thursday because it's going to rain tonight, and it's going to rain very hard tonight. It's going to rain tomorrow, and it's going to rain the next day. So by the time all this is said and done, if what our RPM model is showing is correct, add another 25 inches of rain on top of what we've already picked up. So certainly this makes Allison looks like child's play all of a sudden. So again, rainfall totals. Here's the RPM. David's driving the forecast over there. This is noon today. Now what we're watching for is the lull in activity here. And we call it a lull and not a break because I think it's going to continue to rain throughout the day. But we can certainly, we'd rather have a 1/4 inch of rain per hour instead of 3 inches per hour. Okay? So we're looking at little breaks here along the immediate coast, but look up to the north. Can't forget about our friends up there. I know the flooding is tremendous down in Galveston and southeast Harris County. We've got a lot of creeks and tributaries up here as well. Up on the north side, Cypress Creek well out of its banks, Spring Creek out of its banks, the areas out near Timber Lakes, Timber Ridge, Glenlock on the backside of the Woodlands. If you're not flooded, likely going to. Tomball, Katy, areas out towards Waller. This is an everybody flood, not just, during Allison, it was basically along east of 45. People out towards Katy picked up an inch of rain. So as we continue to push out towards time, this is 4 o'clock on this evening, 5 o'clock. You can see the rain redeveloping now. As it begins to get dark, there are certain atmospheric conditions that take place that cause the rain to fall harder during the night. And this is obviously what the model is picking up on. Now, as we continue heading into Sunday, or tonight, heading into your Monday, you see what I see, and that is the rain continues to fall. Now, there may be some breaks in the action at times, but it's going to take more than 2 or 3 hours to get rid of the kind of water that we have out there on the freeways and the bayous. So even 2 or 3 hours, we'll take it, but we're going to need days and weeks worth of dry weather to get rid of the rain that we have. And unfortunately, this takes us all the way into 7 o'clock on Monday morning. You can see the rain a little bit further to the east.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Maybe that's somewhat of a silver lining, but a lot of rain still out to the west.
New
as well.
Orleans,
Now, as we
Baton
were talking
Rouge.
about 30 minutes ago, David, if we can put up the
Yeah.
satellite, This is one of the situations, we can start with the track or the satellite. The official forecast from the National Hurricane Center,
I just meant, I
the official forecast takes the center of the heartbeat, or whatever's left of it at that time, right over the city of Houston. Okay, saying, well, that's really bad. In this case, it actually may be the saving grace for our city, because there's not much precipitation over the center of circulation. We'll show you that coming up in just a second. But here's the official forecast. This point up here, when it gets up towards Huntsville, is again like 1 a.m. on Thursday. So we have a long time to go. As long as that system continues to sit and spin out to our west, we're going to continue to get that flow coming in right off the Gulf of Mexico. So again, there's our center of circulation. This is the low-level center. Now keep in mind, a tropical system, think of it like a cake.
What?
You get a hurricane when you get a closed low at the surface down where we live. Then you have a mid-level circulation in the mid-level part of the atmosphere, and then you have an upper-level circulation, okay? When they are stacked, you have a tropical system. That's how hurricanes are formed. When they are decoupled, okay, you get more of a mid-level circulation, then it's something completely different. This appears to me that the mid-level circulation located near Brenham, which has produced all of the rain that we've seen over the past 24 hours, has decoupled from the low-level circulation. So what we're hoping, it's only a hope and a prayer here, is that upper level low, that mid-level circulation pulls off to the northeast, taking the rain with it, leaving behind the dry low-level center. The low-level center is what the National Hurricane Center is tracking, not the mid-level circulation.
So the two storms
we get
combined,
the circulation
and then
over
they were gonna
Houston,
split back up.
I think things begin to dry out.
Essentially
If
what we're
that
saying,
happens-
because the one
that
that it
happens,
combined with
That
originally
means
wasn't
prayers would have been
that
answered.
bad. It was just like kind of a
Hopefully.
normal low.
It's
So
2 or
we
3 days away.
need a break.
We're
7 hours ago.
Right, gosh, a long time ago. And you know what? It was interesting. You were showing the path, the projected path of the storm there, Blake. And we were talking about earlier. You were saying the damage was already done, is in regards to the rain,
Right.
the substantial amount of rain and the flooding. But that's because we're going to have that rain. The system moves north, then it flows into our rivers. The rivers flow south and bring the flooding
Right.
water
So
as well.
it doesn't necessarily, and that's what we saw last night. And David and I and Brooks and Cheetah, we all mentioned, like, my goodness, the bayous are so full, and that's because that watershed is taking in so much water.
All right, thanks, Blake. Let's jump out to Dickinson, where there's been a rescue that we've been following, and also high water on the Gulf Freeway, and Kevin Reese is there. Well, what's the latest there, Kevin?
Yeah, you're looking at yet another Coast Guard rescue here in Dickinson. We are at 517, FM 517. We're standing on I-45. That's where we're looking at this scene where a Coast Guard helicopter has already pulled 2 people in by basket. We're waiting to see if they have yet another rescue they're going to effect here. But we have watched them do 3 or 4, and now they get as many people in this Coast Guard helicopter as they can. They close the door, and they are on their way back to the Coast Guard base to drop them off. And then we know it'll take about another 10, 15 minutes, and the same Coast Guard helicopter will be back to work again in these neighborhoods in Dickinson. As that helicopter flies away, Josh, when it's good for you, go back down and show us what it looks like here in the flooded streets of FM 517. That Coast Guard helicopter making a turn and coming north with at least 2 passengers on board. We saw them raised by basket from some of the flooded streets in Dickinson, and now they're heading back in the direction of what would likely, from the direction they're going, likely be Ellington Field. Stay with us here. We're going to show you what it looks like here. This is, again, is FM 517. It is under several feet of water. I lived in the Houston area for at least 9 years and never saw anything like this.
Oh
Lee, can we go talk to you, Lee? Come on over here for a second.
That guy's wearing a jet ski.
Josh, go ahead and keep the picture that you've got.
They're still on the north side of Houston. Houston is like the whole Houston area is like 100 miles north to south. This water is keeping building up right there, and that means the rest of the city is going to get it. Oh my God!
About a half a mile down this road, and then about 100 yards down the street.
100 yards down the street. Do you have any idea what your house might look like right now?
I was taking pictures all day Thursday, Friday, and we were watching the water come up. And then yesterday it receded, so we thought we kind of dodged the bullet.
But then late last night, it came up in a hurry. So I was out there frantically moving everything to higher ground, and I couldn't keep up with it.
All right. Well, our photographer Josh is looking at more rescuers here. What time did you leave?
About 1 a.m. We couldn't quite get to that. I damaged my finger moving a trailer, and we couldn't quite get to the emergency room. So we literally got off on the freeway, and I walked over to there, and I've been there the whole night.
Okay. Okay. And you own a business here as well. Have you had your eyes on it? It's the go-kart track right next to the freeway.
Yes, sir. It is severely underwater. I've been there for the better part of 23 years. The track floods maybe a couple times a year, so we're kind of used to that. But this is the first time we've ever had water in the building, and the last I saw before the cameras went dead, I had 3 feet of water inside.
Before your cameras went dead, cameras that you could look at from home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are you doing now? You're standing up here on the bridge with us, wondering just how bad the situation is at home and at your business?
I really want to get my eyes on my home. I have a whole bunch of stuff that's sitting in the yard. I just need to get reassured. I'd like to get reattached to my phone because I left in a hurry.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on just a second, Lee. Lee, come on out here with me. So these rescuers that are going out now, Lee, and if they head down 517 here, how long before they're at your street?
Can you see that little white bridge? I'm the street past the white bridge.
Looking at what we're looking at now, we're trying to be positive here, but are you?
No. I used to be an optimist, but I got beat up by reality a long time ago.
Josh, as that boat goes away, we're going to back up and maybe you can get a shot of me and Lee talking to each other. You've been on this.
Welcome to my world.
Come on over here.
Where reality.
How long have you been up here waiting to truck you back to your home?
I left the emergency room at 6:45.
Why did I cause
Until
Katrina?
8:15. So whatever time it is now.
Why did I
about 20,
cause
30 minutes. You cannot cross
Great Louisiana
517.
flood?
That current is so rough, it takes your feet right out from under you.
You're the one I saw trying to walk through that current.
Trying to, compounding my silly errors from last night, I suppose.
Okay, but you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, they did a great job down at the first aid place.
And you walked here from the emergency room.
Yes, sir, about 1.5 miles.
What's your plan of attack now? Everything you own is in those 2 buildings.
Yes, sir. I gotta cross the freeway, get on the other side, and then I'm just gonna start walking down the street until I get to my house.
You're going to walk down this street.
It only looks like it's about waist deep. So long as I stay out of the current, I'll be okay.
You can see the car down there with it all the way up to the hood.
That's about 4 foot from here. I'm a tall guy.
But they're actively rescuing people now, guys in boats.
I didn't say it was a great idea.
I would agree. Maybe it's not a great idea.
But I gotta.
Bless his heart.
All right. Well, just stay as dry as you can. Stay as alive as you can, please.
So it's so funny because we were watching the other day. There was a weather guy
somewhere else in Texas, and he was saying, maybe we'll learn from this. This happened in Katrina. This happened in Sandy. This happened last year for us in the flood. I'm pretty sure y'all ain't gonna learn shit from this. Just saying.
That guy didn't learn shit from last night.
Apparently not. He talking about he gonna go walk where they're sending boats out to rescue people. Bless your little heart, dude, because
you make one wrong step. One wrong step, then that current has you.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I love that. As long as we stay out of the current. No?
Yep. It's nice trying to walk down the middle of the road on that high part until part of that road gets washed out.
He's Dory as a baby. We see the undertow and we say, let's go.
Now, if you didn't go out last night, happen to get caught out, and now you see what it's like, everybody should be sheltering in place so you avoid the fate of so many people who got stuck last night because these rescues are going to be going on, and we don't want to add to it at this point.
And this is just a lull in the rain right now. It's coming back around. So even if you've seen things recede by just an inch, or whether it's a couple of feet, folks, be prepared. We're going to see likely more flooding. Right now, we want to go ahead and check in with Erica Ferrando. She's at Houston Transtar. That is the hub for Houston and Harris County emergency operations. Let's find out what she's learned there, the very latest. Erica?
I wonder if they have food there. I think it's hungry too, because she's not.
Well, here at Transtar, you have about 200, almost 300 people working nearly around the clock, committed to bringing you the latest information. We're going to get some more of that, and I understand you guys just had a briefing. Can you tell us what was said, the latest?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a real quick briefing because we're in search and rescue operations right now, and that is the main focus right now. And until it's done, is life safety. And we know we have people on rooftops. We know we have people who are calling 911. If you're calling 911 and you can't get through, stay on the line. Don't hang up. If you need to get out of your house, go to your roof. Do not go to your attic. I want to make that point very clear. Do not get into your attic. Go to your roof. And we have every available asset deployed. High water vehicles, boats, helicopters, everything available is deployed right now to get to these people who need the help.
And I know these calls have been coming in pretty much nonstop. You said they started at about probably 9 last night and really started picking up around 3 this morning.
Yeah, you could hear the uptick in the voices of the first responders as we got into the morning hours, and the extraordinary measures and heroic measures that they were taking to save lives last night, reaching out of boats, jumping out of boats to grab people. You know, we're getting there as fast as we can. The first responders are getting there as fast as we can. We've done well over 1,000 rescues to this point. Luckily, we're getting a little bit of a break in the rain. It's not as intense, it's not as concentrated as it was, so the water levels will begin to slowly fall. With the amount of water we have on the ground, it will take at least through most of today and into tomorrow to drain it off. And unfortunately, we do expect some more rain coming up from the south. So it's just something we're going to have to watch. One thing to caution everybody, just because it may not be flooding at your particular location, continue to watch the water levels. Water is moving across the ground and in the bayous and stuff. And so water may be down at this point, but it may start rising later today.
And one thing about these emergency responders, they're not immune to this flooding either. Some of them are out there saving lives, but they're also suffering with their own homes flooding as well.
Absolutely. We have people in this building who have water in their homes right now. We have people in this building whose families are calling to ask to be rescued right now. And so, yeah, we are not immune to this. Really, nobody is immune to this. And we know we have water in homes that we have never seen water in homes before. And that's probably one of the biggest things that surprised me is how deep the water has gotten. We've just never seen the water get so deep in some of these areas like we've seen overnight.
And I know you've mentioned that the water may start to go down in a few days. Do you think we should expect it to go up more than it is now?
In some areas, it may go up a little bit more. Houston, and a lot of these areas that were hit very hard, once the rain stops, the water will start to go down. And it will kind of congregate in the lowest areas, so it will take time in those lower areas to get fully down. But just the sheer volume of water that we have on the ground is going to take time. And that's if the rain completely stops. If we get more rain, we might stop the succession of the water, and potentially see some rises in the water. So paying attention to the forecast is very important, especially going forward with these remnants of Harvey still stalled out to our west. That puts us on that wet side even for the next 24 or 48 hours.
Now that we're seeing some daylight outside, what do you think folks should expect to see?
We're going to see unbelievable images this morning, especially from the air, of just tremendous amounts of water. Images similar to Tropical Storm Allison. We have virtually every freeway in this county, in this city, that has water, not only on the feeder roads, but the main lanes. It's very difficult to get around. And there are certainly some places where we do not have active flooding in place. And I don't want people to come out of their house and get in their car and start driving around, because you're not going to get very far before you find water. But there are some places that are high that do not have water. And I just want people in those looking out the window now and saying, oh, it's not bad here. don't get in your car, don't start driving around. We need to leave every available dry road open for emergency response right now.
For those who are around during Allison, how is this going to compare?
There's certainly some comparisons that can be drawn to Allison. My personal take on it is this is larger than Allison in the size that it's covered. It's covered almost the entire county into our surrounding counties. Allison was really focused on the north and east side of Harris County into the downtown area. And this is countywide and spreading into other counties, and then it just keeps going. And Allison lingered on for several days here, but we got breaks between the floods with Allison. This just won't stop, and so it's just continuous, and it's just it beats you down. One thing I want to tell everybody is, it's scary. People are anxious right now. There's a lot of stuff happening, but don't panic. Help is coming. Do your best to try to get to safety, but don't panic. And we are seeing a lot of people helping people. We have seen neighbors helping neighbors. We have seen people on the freeway pulling people out of cars, and that's to the level we're at right now in the situation.
Are we still seeing some of these rescues right now?
Oh, absolutely. We have rescues going on all over this county, all over Galveston County, portions of Fort Bend and Brazoria counties, and they will continue probably all day long.
Anything else you want everyone to know? What is your, main message?
The main message, again, do not go into the attic, get on the roof. If you're calling 911, stay on the phone, don't hang up, they will eventually get to you. And like I said, don't panic. If you see somebody that needs help and you can safely do it, please help them. Because right now, the emergency response community, as great as it is, we are at our limit on where we can get and what we can do.
Well, thank you, and I know everyone appreciates you. You've been here the past couple of days along with some of the people here, making sure to help all of these people. So we appreciate all of those emergency responders, and just make sure to stay in your homes if you can. Help will be on the way. For now, let's toss it back to you in the studio.
There, she was joined with Jeff Lindner, the meteorologist for the Harris County Flood Control District. He says right now they are in search and rescue operations. They have mobilized all assets that they have. It's boats, heavy trucks. We've seen the Coast Guard choppers coming in and plucking people from their rooftops. And he emphasized that do not go to your attic. If you're in your attic somehow, some way if possible, move to the rooftop. That's where he wants you to be. He said the call started at 9 o'clock, right around the time we really saw the weather pick up. And then he said, boy, at 3 a.m. it was really on. And it's been nonstop since. So if you are in need of emergency assistance, that means that, your life perhaps is in danger. You feel threatened. Your safety feels threatened. You call 911. That's what he's suggesting, but you got to stay on the line and be patient. They have so many calls that they are responding to. I'm sure so many calls coming in from the Sagemont area. That's where our Scott Noone has been stationed at. He's watched the water rise there. He's watched people try and flee and run from the water in their houses and seek shelter at underpasses. Let's just check back in with him now. Scott?
Yeah, Mia, joining me live is Adam. Adam just actually came out of the floodwaters here in the Sagemont neighborhood. Give us an idea. You were at your cousin's house, and what, the water just started coming up?
Yeah, man, I was at my cousin's house, and it's like 5 streets down, 5 blocks down. It's flooded all the way to the hospital, to Southeast Memorial Hospital. It's bad.
When did that water start coming up? Was it last night, this morning?
It was last night. We've been there all morning, all night. It's bad, man.
You talked about that 5 blocks. I mean, what went through your mind? What made you decide I need to leave the safety of this house and just head out in?
Man, I was in the we pulled out. We were trapped in the car, and then the car stopped, so we had to get out. Man, the water's up to your chest. It's bad.
You said 5 blocks of chest deep water just walking. Did you ever think you would get to high ground?
Actually, I didn't, man. It's scary out there.
So that's where it's getting higher, where they're finally getting waist deep right there. Okay. Hold on right quick. We have some breaking news. Drama unfolding on Facebook.
It's not
Can you
necessarily.
hear me okay?
It's not necessarily breaking news. More or less. So there was a girl who posted on Facebook who worked for a law firm in Houston, and her husband, apparently his wife or something, the lawyer in charge, had said that like wife or somebody worked on the council in Houston and were saying that the news and everybody was reporting that this was only going to be 24 inches of rain. They weren't reporting that it was going to be as bad as it was, even though supposedly they knew. And the mayor of Houston is the one who was urging people from the get-go that not to leave, don't evacuate, it's not going to be that bad. And now people are being rescued off of their roofs like they were in Katrina. This, and the thing about it was when the girl posted all this, that all those warnings and everything that the news was saying wasn't accurate, she was being tore down and being called a liar, and people were saying it was false. And now look at this shit. I don't think that, you know, that's not false. And I mean, we've been calling, Sean's been over here calling this since this thing came off the Yucatan, before it even reformed into a hurricane, that this was going to be a megastorm. And it's just horrible. People are got all their stuff as much as they could carry. They're hanging out under the overpasses, kayaking. One guy was on a jet ski getting down the street. I mean, huh.
Alright, so you made an interesting proposition that I suppose would not equate to sparing wrath and spoiling child and whatnot. Would you like to repeat that, dear?
Make it come this way. Give them relief. We know how to handle this. Plus, be a good excuse for us to finally get the fuck out of Louisiana. One of your family members has been hinting that to me in almost every conversation I've had with her over the last 6 months. So, and that's gotta count.
What's the light outside doing right now?
Getting brighter. It just got a whole lot brighter outside.
Alright, I'll be back.
Can we go to Florida?
Try to find my wall. I hid it from myself.
Under there. Can you put it back on the thing? So I'm not like...
I don't think it's there. I started to put it there, and then I put it somewhere else. Oh, I know where I put it. Okay.
Ow. 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 Ugh. Our ceiling's not...
Oh, wait. I'll be back.
Hey, which one goes back to the TV thing?
Okay, hold on.
They don't want to stare at our ceiling.
You don't want to stare at the ceiling?
Our ceiling is...
You just go scene 2?
Uh-huh. And unmute the TV. Oh, crap.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, you need to unmute the TV.
Again, from our vantage point, if it does take off, we'll give you another quick picture. It gives you a sense, even though we're trying to give a play-by-play on this as calmly as we possibly can, but it gives you an idea of just how frantic some of this rescue operation is, and just how difficult it is when the weather is like this as yet another heavy downpour comes through this part of Galveston County, the south end of the Houston area. We are dealing with major flooding here along Dickinson Bayou. That is why this Coast Guard helicopter is here, perhaps waiting for better visibility before it takes off. Let's go over here, Josh, and show them just how bad this is. Because this cloud cover came in, and the helicopter pilot apparently changed his or her mind and did not take off. Now they're just waiting, spooling up to see if the weather's good enough for them to lift off. You're looking down at FM 517 here in Dickinson as we shoot our pictures from the top of I-45. This two-lane street is now a running river where they've been effecting rescues throughout all of the morning. And now the Coast Guard helicopter is going to go ahead and take off. Go ahead, Josh. They have been working non-stop, now hovering just a few feet above us. And taking off to the south toward Galveston, using I-45 as a landing pad and runway as they continue to work on rescues in and around this area of Dickinson and Santa Fe and Hitchcock and League City and Webster, you name it. Rescues like this are underway. If that Coast Guard helicopter does come back and indeed land here again, we'll be talking to some of those folks who are being rescued. And I can tell you one thing, don't leave your camera on a tripod if a Coast Guard helicopter is standing by, which someone else just found out. We do have a few folks who have been rescued. And if we've got time, I guess we do. Let's go check on some folks here. I'm with Channel 11. Where are you guys coming from?
Got off work. It's right there.
Get on the it's over the top.
We've been sitting in the car with these other. It's somewhere.
How long have you been stranded here?
Since 12. Right.
It's midnight last night. Yeah. And where have you been staying? You were in the car for a while until you couldn't anymore?
3 people's cars. So we barely made it out of my car, you know.
And where have you been ever since?
In that car, and the water come up, and we had to go get another one.
Where is home for you? Here in Dickinson?
Yeah, right down there by Dickinson High School.
And we can both tell that doesn't look very good. I've lived here 9 years. I've never seen flooding like this. Have you ever seen flooding like this along the bayou?
Never. Never have seen it. Never.
What's your guys' plan now, if I can ask? Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
We need to find a way to get you guys out of the rain.
Yeah.
Family we can call, family we can get a message to, anybody?
No.
Will you guys hang tight? Galveston County Rescue. We'll see if we can hook you up with somebody at some point.
Okay. I appreciate it.
You guys take care. All I can say is you're not alone. As bad as that. Y'all take care. Best of luck to you.
Okay, so
the conditions out here are
we had
simply awful. And
a spider web.
From where you are, Josh, but as these folks who have been traveling since midnight last night,
about 15 yellow jackets.
Side, we work our way over to
so I take care of that, and I had to wash my hands because I keep fish
we'll be back, have more live
reefs and stuff.
In just a little bit. Back to you guys.
Now I'm going outside to
Reeves,
pull the storm
the scene there down in Dickinson.
back out to sea.
Kevin, there's a chopper undergoing a rescue operation. That is just in the Dickinson area. untold
Due
rescues
west.
going on all
Due
over
west.
the place because so many
Oh wait,
people,
which way is west? No,
stranded, either
east.
stuck on their roofs or
I get
perhaps
it backwards.
stuck in
Maybe I
cars.
get it
There were
right.
these people, they were staying there until midnight because they just had nowhere to go. That's why we need a break from the rain. We were hoping for a break from the rain because it would just multiply.
I'm gonna pull it to the mouth of
very
the
difficult situation. It would just make it even
Sabine
worse,
River.
if that's even possible. But we are
Right there on the
getting
Texas-Louisiana
rain
border.
in some areas, and more rain is on the
That
way.
way,
Yeah.
the
And
rain will
we
come
know,
here.
you know, you were talking about
We're used to
Kevin,
it.
every
We know
time
how
we
to
go
deal with
him,
it.
we're seeing
I'll put this back on there for
our
y'all to
makeshift
watch.
studio going on
'Cause
here.
I don't feel like
so
bringing
you
the
might
laptop
hear
outside.
some
Sorry.
pings. Just that there's a lot happening in a lot of your homes. But as I was saying, when we go to Kevin, and as Glenn mentioned, we're watching these rescues take place from the Coast Guard, and we know that basically everything, every resource that the city and the county, and talk about Harris County, Galveston County, all of these have available to them, they are utilizing right now, and that includes heavy trucks, dump trucks with the city.
Something with clearance.
Yes, something, very similar to what we saw during Tropical Storm Allison back in 2001. We're also seeing boats, obviously, going into these communities that have just, tons and tons of
We're also told in about an hour the city of Houston is going to hold a news conference. I suspect that they'll update us on maybe the number of rescues that they're dealing with, something they want the public to know at this point, how they're getting together and what areas that they're having trouble. That's going to be a lot of different places. So that comes up at 10 o'clock. We may hear from Mayor Sylvester Turner at that time.
Okay. Yes, and we're definitely going to be
How am I
watching.
supposed to do magic?
Obviously, we're
Yellow
in
Jack.
connection with the Office of Emergency Management. They are hunkered down
Flood
in
Control District.
Star, the Flood Control District. They are there as well, and they are dispatching these crews. They're gathering information as to where they need to send the resources to help people. Obviously, we know it's the southeast side, south side. We've seen Sagemont down by the Beltway in Dickinson, where we're seeing a lot of those rescues. I also understand just from looking at messages on Facebook as well that the Clear Creek community, and we knew that there was going to be an issue there as well. Really, when we heard from Jeff Linder very early on, and overnight in those early hours, he said it was essentially 45 south.
From downtown.
From downtown all the way out to Clear Lake.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's safe to assume that those resources are going to first.
Yeah, we're just hearing, this is from our website, the city of Pearland is enrolling a curfew tonight from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So no longer is it shelter in place. They're telling you, do not come out. This is in Pearland. I would not be surprised if we see other curfews being rolled out, given how bad it is. Because if they keep more of you off the road, rescue crews, emergency teams can do what they need to do without being around a lot of other people.
Let's take our coverage out to Brandy Smith. She's at the Beltway 8 at the West Hardy Toll Road. Brandy?
Yeah, Mia, this is where we've been stationed for the past couple of hours, but I want to give you kind of a new view. We were able to walk up a little higher on the bridge here to show you the amount of water that is flowing through here. Now, remember, this is the eastbound feeder road of Beltway 8 up here. The westbound, but it's all flowing eastbound. Huge amount of water. You can see the force behind it as it hits obstacles and churns past it. I'm not sure if we can show in the distance a bridge. The water has reached the top over here, and it's kind of hidden by shrubbery, but you can see the marker on the bridge behind it says 16 feet. So that bridge behind it is 16 feet. It's a little taller than the one you're seeing up front here where the debris is gathering.
but that gives you a sense of how deep this water is. Now, Beltway 8 right here at Imperial Valley Drive is shut down right now, or should be shut down by high water. We're still seeing folks venturing through it. They've cleared the 2 stalls we showed you earlier, 2 trucks, the drivers of which thought they could make it through and didn't. We just saw a sedan coast through. The good news, if there is any, is that it seems to be receding as the rain has lightened up a little bit. But we're going to hop the median into the eastbound lane. Hang with us for a sec and show you over here, because there's a little closer view of an Exxon gas station where water is up to the pumps. There you have it. You can see the water over here flowing as well. Yesterday, we were sitting in Wharton next to the Colorado River, and I was just watching that flow, and this looks alarmingly like it. You see the sign, road may flood. I don't think there's any confusion there, but in the distance you might have a little clearer view now of that bridge that's marked 6 feet 8 inches. The water is topping it and flowing underneath. We're talking 16 feet of water flowing on the feeder road of Beltway 8 here right at the Hardy Toll Road feeder road. We're underneath the Hardy right now, which is providing some respite from the rain, which hasn't been bad lately. It has eased up just a little bit, which is some good news. But it's just incredible to see the debris, the sediment that it has, that the water has carried along with it. That's why we tell folks, don't go in the water. We've seen pallets, huge branches, large amounts of trash. Pretty incredible images from this vantage point. Len, Mia? Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to stay here. Let's take another look at Waffle House, where the parking lot is totally flooded. The vehicles in this parking lot of Exxon, also, the water is up to about their mid-tire. Probably they were seeking higher ground. Well, then that was not high enough. As I showed you just a second ago, we're up to 16 feet 8 inches in this area. The intersection's completely shut down. Let's walk you back down here to where the high water has crossed the main lanes of Beltway 8. The reason we can tell it's receding a bit, those construction cones just a couple hours ago were underwater. They were floating. You can see some still are because of the wake of the vehicles. But I can tell you, just based on some of those cars that are getting through, the water is a lot more shallow in that left-hand lane than it was. We also saw a minute ago, it looks like they've all walked back, but there's a Hampton Inn and Suites here off to the side. Folks looked like they were just waking up and came down with their umbrellas to assess the scene, see how high the water was, kind of check it out for themselves. It's one thing to see it on TV or see it on social media. I can tell you it's completely different to see it in person. I think you can pull back a little bit. It's not as real when you're watching it through a screen. When you're seeing it with your own eyes, it is intense, and we're really getting that feedback from viewers as well, or from drivers here as well. They've seen our coverage, and yet some of them still ventured out here thinking it couldn't possibly be as bad as we described, finding out very quickly that in some cases it's worse. So we can't emphasize enough how important it is that you stay home if you can. Yes, the rain is easing up a bit, at least in our area, but there is a lot more rain to come. This water that's there, it may be receding, but it can very quickly rise. You don't want to risk your life. This guy looks like he's just going to blow on through. I hope not. Hope he's paying attention to the fact that now we do have law enforcement constable down here trying to indicate to people that this is not safe, trying to block it off, but yet still people are still coming through. Now, Beltway 8, right? This is the southern end of Greens Point. We were up along Greens Road earlier. The site of that, the unforgettable scene that played out on tax day of folks evacuating their homes or their apartments in refrigerators, on air mattresses, whatever they could find to get across the water. This water is coming from Greens Bayou. It's broken its banks, flowing over, and then there's just an accumulation. We have received so much rainfall over the past 12 hours that it's overwhelming for any kind of water distribution or flood system. Mario was just giving you a view there of in the feeder road that looks more like a river than a road, several feet of water there. You can see it's up, if we look at the pillar over here, to the barrier. I just heard from our crew back at the station that the crew there is evacuating KHOU 11. If you've been watching throughout the morning, you know that water started coming into our first floor, into the studio, forcing everyone up to the second floor. Well, now it's gotten to the point where they have to evacuate the building. So this is a really important reminder for folks, you guys out there. If water starts coming in, move to higher ground if you can, if you have that second level of your house. If not, do not go into your attic. We've been warned against telling people that because you could get trapped. If the water reaches that level, there is nowhere for you to go. One of the pieces of advice that came out before Katrina was have an axe in your attic. If you have an axe, you will be able to get out. Possibly a much safer bet would be just to go to the roof. Also, if your life is in danger, call 911. Yes, there is a wait, but call 911, stay on the line. They will try to get help to you as soon as they can. This has been an overwhelming situation. Resources are spread out all over this community trying to save folks. But if you have to get to higher ground, do it. If law enforcement officials, if emergency managers tell you to evacuate, though, do it. When we were over on Greens Road a little earlier this morning, before daylight, an HPD officer told us pretty frankly, we need to get out of there. Even though we were on the Greens Road bridge that goes over the Hardy Toll Road, we would not be safe because when the water came up on each end of that bridge, we would be trapped, and that water is not going to recede. We would have been stuck there for days. So please heed all of the warnings from emergency managers, whether it's get to your roof instead of your attic, whether it's to evacuate when they tell you. These guys have your safety at heart. They want to keep you safe. They want to prevent any loss of life in our community as we're dealing with what the National Weather Service called a catastrophic and life-threatening situation. Let's walk down here a little bit so I can show you more as we get the KHOU 11 crew out of the building. It is flooded. A warning. We've tried to show you here on air. We've also tried to show you via social media what the conditions are there. But we're, heeding those warnings. We're trying to lead by example. If a situation is dangerous, get out if you can. Go up if you can. Sorry, we're hopping the median again right now. What you're looking at up there is Hardy Toll Road. We did pop up to Bush Intercontinental Airport earlier this morning, and the conditions there weren't bad. Looking at social media for the airport, it's not a ground stop. Flights are leaving, but there are a lot of cancellations, a lot of delays. So rather than leaving your home to venture out to a scheduled flight, first check your flight info, call your airline, see if it's even worth risking. We talked to a fella, He drove all the way up there. He was going to go visit his son in Seattle, and then he found out that his flight was delayed, and now he's stuck here. So it's just not worth that risk. He did make a safe call by not trying to drive through the water, but he could have avoided it all, stayed at home where it's possibly much safer and at least dry. I want to walk you back over to the feeder roads on the westbound side. I mean, the water is still extraordinarily high, even though it has possibly receded a bit on the roads. You can see it flowing. Again, this is the westbound feeder road. It is all flowing east. It is pooling. I've said this over and over again, but this is possibly water from Green's Bayou breaking its banks. The bayou makes a little bend here, which caused some problems during the tax day flood. Water poured out there. Then, of course, as the water level rises, it breaks out at other points, and it is flowing through Greens Point, down the feeder road here at Beltway 8, down the Hardy Toll Road, because just north of here, probably a half mile, a mile, that's where Greens Road is. That's where the Arbor Court apartments are, and you no doubt remember the scene from there back on tax day when folks, like I said, were trying to get out by any means possible. When we were up there earlier, evacuees were pouring out of the apartments. You know, a lot of them have been through this before. They know it was time to get out. So they did hop on a metro bus. By then, the conditions had gotten to the point, though, that it wasn't safe for them to take the bus back over the bridge onto the other side. So instead, HPD dive team crews outfitted folks with lifeguards or life jackets and put them in the back of a high water vehicle and towed them across what looked like an endless river. When I asked the officer where these folks were going, where he was taking them, he didn't even know. He just said, "We've got to get them to some place that is dry." His next comment was, "Are you guys staying?" And when I said we were still debating that, he shook his head and said, "You have to go." And at that point, that's when we started getting packed up and moved up to the airport first, and now we've ended up here. But this is an area that has been hit hard, just not this past April, but the April before with the tax day floods. 19 or so apartment complexes significantly damaged. When we were up there, you can see videos of it on my Facebook page that I've shared. I did a Facebook Live up there to try to illustrate to people just how dire the circumstances were. HPD dive crews were jumping into rescue boats. The water, though, was up to their waist as they were trying to wade through the water to get to the boat. They said deeper down the road, deeper into the complexes, it was closer to chest deep. That was hours ago. We have had 4 or 5 hours of rain since then, so no doubt the water has only risen even more. At that point, it was creeping into the doors of the first floor apartments. It had covered some cars. All you could see was the roof of some of the vehicles in the parking lot at the Arbor Court apartments. I did talk to one fellow who was standing outside. He parked his truck up on the bridge. He came back. He evacuated yesterday, came back to get his dogs, parked his truck on the bridge, the Greens Road Bridge over Hardy Toll Road. He went through this whole experience last year. He said he lost 3 cars. He knew he needed to get out. And that's how a lot of these residents are responding. A lot of them came out on their own and jumped on one of 2 buses that HPD provided, that Metro provided for them. But there were also a lot of folks who didn't realize how serious the conditions were until later. And that's when HPD picked them up on that rescue boat. Let's walk back up so I can again show you just the amount of rushing water involved in this. On this side, we showed you the Exxon. On the other side of Beltway, well, here's a Shell also with water up to its pumps. All of the trash cans over there, I'm not sure if you can tell, have been knocked over, and we've been watching as the water just grabs the lid of those cans and sweeps them down. wherever this water is headed. It is just flowing eastbound.
Alright, so I'm back from inside and whatnot, or outside, or whatever. Whatever the kids are calling it these days in your neck of the woods. There was a spider web across my entry path. And about 15 yellow jackets, all chomping on the wood on the porch overhang. Just swarming around, taking turns, pissing me off, kind of. And I don't know if that broke my focus or frustrated me a little bit. But when it came time to just pull it straight here, I couldn't really bring myself to do that. So I'm just trying to hurry it on back out to sea. But instead of going just south of Houston, I'm going to try to pull it over to the mouth of the Sabine River on the Texas-Louisiana border. So that should provide just the right amount of relief for just the right people. But let's just say, unlike Houston, the area that was directly hit by the storm is, let's just say, I've known that area to historically be rather anti-immigrant. So one might infer that lately, and I haven't reviewed the data, but I could just, I'm pretty sure I could settle a bet on the fact that that whole area went for Donald Trump and is still for Donald Trump. Because they don't live close enough to the border to need a wall. And they don't live in an area just away from the border, like Edinburgh and McAllen, where there's a chicken plant, colleges and shit, where Mexican Americans or immigrants from Mexico or anywhere else would want to go. It's basically just rich retired fuckers and oil refineries, chemical refineries, ports that ship shit from China. Or one port that no longer ships shit from China. But Houston, man, I used to live not far from where they're at. I used to take 517. And the Beltway right there. Oh, I mean, I've driven right there so many times. I've been on that feeder road they just showed that was flooding. That's. I was just thinking about all the assholes that unnecessarily race shitty cars on that feeder road. That's funny. That was last night. But Houston is not a pro-Trump city. That's a city where, like, I don't know, there's less racial tension and more class tension. And you know the city does all right economically, but you know it's not like Louisiana. Okay, it's not as bad as Louisiana. All right, because there's so many different cultures all in one city. And you know, at least the schools I went to were integrated as can be, and everybody is just kind of, except for like the fuckers, tried to get along. There's always the fuckers though. And Houston, it has its greater share, or used to have. I haven't been there much recently, so I can't speak for recently. They didn't vote for fucking Donald Trump, so I can't be too mad at them. But Houston used to have, back in the early '90s, especially in the 5th Ward and in Sharpstown, where I used to live, more than its fair share of fuckers. Oh, look at these dumbasses. Wow. Let me try to fix the fucking camera while they got it on this shit. No. Turn it back the other way. There we go. Yeah, that's not working. Mike's hot. I'm just trying to get it to where the camera doesn't white out the glared part of the water. Come on, man. Maybe more contrast. More contrast? No, less contrast. I don't understand. That's not bad. I spoke too soon. had it fixed for a second, and then it just automatically fucks up again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my webcam drivers got hacked again. Fuck's sake. That's default. Wow, that's special. So it's acting like this shit's on auto. But it's not on fucking auto, is it? Oh my god. Okay. So I think I finally got the webcam settings back to normal again. Let's see how long it is before they fuck up again.
Just past here, that bridge is at about the 16-foot clearance level. The water has reached that point and is trying to push through. It has incredible force. You do not want to walk in the water because of all the possible things that are in it. You also don't want to walk in because you don't know how strong that current is. Look at how it's wrapping around the stoplights, the signs, how debris is accumulating on the fence here.
That's green
And the
as
water
bayou,
is just
she's
sweeping more and more. I mean, it's not going down here. This is all coming from deeper into the Greens Point area hit hard by those tax day floods.
Fuck.
When we were up on Greens Road, we were right there at Greens Road when it crosses the Hardy Toll Road, and you couldn't see the end of the water. It was just going for as far as the eye could see. Rescue crews didn't even know where to take folks, where it could be dry. They were just going to drive in their high water vehicle until they found a place. There are shelters up here where they are taking folks. Talking to Chief Art Acevedo earlier today, he said, and this was at maybe 5 a.m., he said there had been hundreds of rescues all over the city. We know just in the block we were standing, there had been about 28 overnight. Those were the rescues HPD's dive team had to make on their rescue boats, driving apartment to apartment to people who flagged them down. A lot of other people knew this was coming. They'd heard the forecast. They saw the conditions getting worse. They packed up what they could, grabbed their kids, grabbed their loved ones, and marched out onto the bridge because they knew help would come as they did. Then HPD crews loaded those folks onto 2 metro buses and took them to safety. But that second bus wasn't going to make it. The water was rising so quickly that instead of sending that bus back over the bridge the way it came, HPD crews decided to give life jackets to anyone who wanted them on board the bus, including the children on there, and then load those folks off of the bus onto the high water rescue vehicle and took them to safety. One of the fellows I talked to there, his name was Steven, he was coming back to pick up his dogs. He was parked up on the bridge. He said he went through this last year. He lives on the second floor, so he knew his stuff would be safe, but he said all of my neighbors who live down below, their stuff is gone. Cars in the parking lot of Arbor Courts, you could barely notice the roof peeking out of the water. That's how high it was. The HPD dive team crews told us the water, as you went a little deeper, was about chest deep. When they were climbing into the boats, their rescue boats, to go get more folks, the water was waist deep. And that was right along Greens Road, and it only got deeper as you went along. Sorry, my voice is starting to give out. We've been going all morning. I'm going to go get some water. The reason we are broadcasting right now is because our team at the KHOU 11 studio is evacuating. We don't have a way to switch between different crews right now, so I apologize. A lot of talking out here, folks. Folks are trying to pass this stretch of Beltway 8. I'll have Mario kind of show you the scene for a sec while I get a quick drink of water. Okay, my apologies. We've tried to keep you updated also on social media. You can download the KHOU 11 news app. You can watch our coverage live. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. Our reporters are spread out all over the city, and they're bringing you conditions in those locations. Quite a few folks in Southeast, which we know has been hit particularly hard, but I would encourage you to hop on social media if you can. If you have your phone handy, you're going to get updates from all over the city. Right now, we are on Beltway 8 near Imperial Valley, the southern end of kind of the Green Point community. I think I mentioned this hours ago, but I did a story on the year anniversary of the Tax Day floods to kind of look at what has changed since that historic flooding. And there were a couple of things. They'd shored up some of the walls of Green Bayou. Also, there were two detention ponds, big detention ponds, under construction that would be able to take some of this water. They weren't scheduled to be complete, though, until next year. So they may have taken on some water in this case. Clearly, they can't handle all of it. And really, with as much water as we've had, as much rain has fallen in Houston over the past 12 hours, it'd be hard for any water management system, any bayou system, to cope. We want to pop maybe back across. Checking in with Mario here. Mario Sandoval behind the camera, bringing you those images that you're seeing, trying to give you a little clearer view of what the situation is like. There we go, over the median.
Two guys of my height and build.
Now the water, it doesn't just funnel down Hardy Toll Road. It doesn't just go down the Sam Houston Parkway feeder road here. It goes really as far as you can see. There are what used to be parking lots or fields in the distance full of water. The water is covering bushes, trees, this whole parking lot for what was Unitech. Over at the Exxon station across the street, the water is up to the gas pumps. Kind of a dangerous spot to be in. I'm not sure either of those vehicles should be parked there. And then if you look at the Waffle House down here, also completely flooded. This water is just flowing eastbound. It's trying to go go to the lowest possible point. Just north of here is one of those low points, and that is the Arbor Court Apartments. So Mario, if you want to spin around and show them this bridge, the clearance for semi-trucks here is 16 feet, 8 inches. The water is, it would be taller. I mean, it's pushing underneath that. You also see a construction cone here that's trying to battle the fence to get through. The current's so strong. It's right over here, Mario. So it's just behind the stoplight sign. Not sure you're going to be able to see it. Let's walk up so I can give you a little clearer view. So that, no doubt, either came from construction further up the Hardy Toll Road, feeder road, or it came from the construction on the Imperial Valley Drive exit. It's worth noting, this sign, road may flood. Indeed it may. All right, the construction cone is actually going underwater. It's filling with water, it looks like, possibly. But the current is pushing it up against this fence, and it's kind of having a battle here. It went under. It was right here behind the plywood.
I can always find a ray
We're
of
gonna
sunshine.
keep going. We're gonna explore a part of this area we haven't been to yet, just to give you another vantage point. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing stoplights underwater. Stoplights underwater here at Hardy Toll Road. That is how high the water is up here. You know, we've seen a lot of video from southeast.
Oh no.
From different parts of our community today, and they're all being hit very hard. The images are incredible to see in person. It looks like the stoplight here is actually shorting out. The green light is flickering. It's just gone off now, but the water is reaching the Hardy Toll Road sign, very close to overtaking it. As the water from Green's Bayou just pours, as the rain keeps coming down. Like I mentioned, it's not a heavy rain right now. You can kind of see that on the surface of the water. But it hasn't stopped. So as this water keeps going, Mario's just noticed an 18-wheeler underwater over here. So what you are looking at is the Beltway 8 eastbound feeder road. So this truck, one, was going the wrong direction. Two, must have hit high water and is now stranded there. Mario, can you tell, is there anyone inside? So over here, the water also creeping up to the stoplights. The lights are going on this truck. The windshield wipers are going. As we get a little closer, it does look like there is someone inside. There's movement inside of this truck.
Where are you?
Yeah, I must do that at Magna, trying to find. I was so frustrated, pissed off about that.
Sorry. Calming down now.
what they can do.
There. Okay.
I've lost. I'm sorry, just a moment. I've lost my communications with the station. I'm trying to get reconnected really quickly. If they can come back to us, I'm not sure that they'll be able to for a while because our crews have evacuated the building along Allen Parkway. Okay, Mara, you're hearing from folks back at the station? What are they telling us? 2 feet of water in the station. And they are evacuating the building right now. Those are the kind of circumstances we're dealing with. Catastrophic, dire, life-threatening. Do not take any chances. If your life is in danger, only if your life is in danger, please call 911. If there's water creeping into your house, or water creeping into your house, that's not worthy of a 911 call at this point. Only if your life is threatened. If you can go to a higher ground, do it. If you can go to that second floor, if you can go to the roof. But for now, we are just trying to bring you the situation here as our crews evacuate our own station, which is flooded with 2 feet of water on the first floor, which I'm not sure has ever happened, at least in the past few decades. Talking to folks, I don't think it happened when Allison hit. We've gotten that much water. The flood levels are rising that quickly. So this fella, I want the incident response team that was over here on the Hardy Toll Road is not here. Here we go. We have a boat coming. I'm gonna flag these guys down.
Yay!
Hold on just a second.
I'm like waving too. Fuck.
Are you guys headed down to the truck right here? There's a truck driver stuck here in about 10 feet of water. Thank you. Okay. These guys have a boat. We've got the Harris County Sheriff, water rescue team, an airboat here. Hopefully we can get down to this guy. I'm going to try to get his attention. There is now water filling his cab. I'm trying not to break your eardrums as I scream. Oh, here. The deputy is going to check on him. Sir? There's a boat here.
Except it was on the other side of the freeway.
Can you say that for me one more time? What happened here last year?
Same location, 18-wheeler. He didn't know it was as steep as it was, but it was on the flip side of the freeway, and we had to go dive for him because he passed away and went underwater. So.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys get to it because
the hard part is just trying to find a location to put in, and once I get in there, I'll be okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is a really amazing end result to what could have been a deadly situation, which was a deadly situation here just a year ago. If you heard the
Well done, young lady. Well
a
done.
semi-truck that was driving the other way got stuck. Didn't realize how deep the water is. I can't tell you how many times we've repeated that today. You never know how deep the water is. And if we can turn around, Mario can show you the clearance level on this bridge is 16 feet 9 inches. Look at how close the water is to reaching that. So that's probably 16 feet even, right around there, estimating from this distance. Incredibly dangerous. And this water, folks, it's rising. I don't know, Mario, if you can zoom in on the cab here, and you can see water filling it, flowing in there. All of those items in that truck right now are floating because of the amount of water that's pouring into the truck, into the cab. The driver's on the other side. We've got the boat coming down. It looks like it's going to put in right down here at the exit for Aldine Westfield, which is now a boat ramp. This is no longer a freeway exit. It's a boat ramp for rescue crews. Hopefully they can get to him. It looks like he's okay for now. I think he's hanging on the edge of the window on the other side, sitting there waiting it out. But what could have been it could have been a deadly situation. This fella could have ended up like the driver last year who lost his life at this intersection of Beltway 8 and Hardy Toll Road. It looks like they're getting the boat in there, backing it in there. Just listening for any updates from the station. Again, KHOU 11, the studio has been evacuated. The building has been evacuated. The building taking on water at least 2 feet at our last update. Allen Parkway is completely inundated, impassable. So our crews are just trying to get to safety. At this point, it's hard to say where that would be because the roads are impassable. Hey there, IHOU. Where are you going with your gas can?
The gas station.
It's Oh, you guys are going to get gas?
Yeah, we run out of gas on the other side, so we gotta go get gas. It's bad. We live on that side, and it's really, really bad. Water is really high. Yeah.
It's even higher on the other side. Both of these gas stations across the way are underwater.
Underwater.
Well, the gas, there was water up to their gas pumps.
Okay. We're gonna try to get some gas. We out of gas and we're on the water. So I don't know. It's bad for everybody.
It is bad for everybody. Yeah. Any advice to folks? Tell them to stay home.
Stay home and don't come out unless you have to. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. Yes. Stay home. Be safe. These guys ran out of gas just down the road here. They're going to find gas where they can. Unfortunately, the 2 gas stations that are right here have water up to the gas pumps. We haven't been able to get down to them, but we know that it's not going to be a safe situation, and those pumps are likely turned off, the emergency switch off, activated. So let's see if the crews have gotten down there. It looks like they're still loading the boat into the water here along Beltway 8. We've hopped over. We're in the eastbound lane. The rain has started to pick up. I'm sure you could hear it. We've been blessed that the past hour or so, it's been relatively light. Now it's picking up again. Now the water levels will rise again. Water levels just rising so quickly and so dangerously on this Sunday morning. I know a lot of you are just waking up. Maybe some of you have been up all night. And we appreciate you staying with KHOU 11. We've been on the air since 8:30 last night, bringing you the changing conditions. The rain just keeps getting heavier and heavier, and this is not a good sign. There's a part of me, I knew the forecast after listening to David Paul and to Blake and to Brooks and to Cheetah, and I know we have several days of rain ahead, but there's a part of me that hoped that forecast would be a bust and we would catch a break. And based on what we're seeing right now, it just doesn't seem like we're going to get that break that the bayous so desperately need. We are right near Green's Bayou, which is just up that way. I don't have the data in front of me. I can't look at the Harris County Flood Control website. But based on what we're seeing here, it's safe to say it's broken its banks. Water's flowing out of there. Not to mention all the water that's coming from the sky and pooling. It's going to the lowest place it can. It's just going to keep flowing. When we were on the other side, you could see how fast that water was moving. That kind of flow is like a river, a very, very strong current. Checking on our friend in the truck here. The good news, he's crawling over to the other side here. Hold on. He's asking, sir, they're putting the boat in just now. They're on their way. I cannot imagine how terrifying it would be to be stuck right there, right now. Put yourself in that place. Your car is filling with water. Help is on the way. He is incredibly lucky. There's help on the way. But that's only because I flagged down the incident response team, or the Harris County Sheriff's Office. They weren't headed here. They didn't know he was down here. Now they're efforting getting the boat into the water, wondering if they're going to have to back up a little more. The water here at least 10 feet deep. You can see down there, it's pushing 16 under the bridge. The higher elevated roads, like Hardy Toll Road you see there, we're seeing people driving freeway speeds on them. And I want to caution people about that too. If you are driving in what appears to be a safe spot, as a lot of them actually did, headed west here on Beltway 8, they were just cruising along. Well, you pop over that hill, and on the other side are cars lined up because they can't go into the high water, and we almost witnessed one crash. The car just slammed on its brakes on the wet pavement trying to avoid a crash. And luckily they did. But we've seen before accidents in these kinds of conditions where you just don't know what's on the other side. So please, one, don't go out. Do not drive the roads. You see what they are like. You see some of the dangers they pose right now. If for whatever reason you think it is a good idea to venture out, drive cautiously, drive carefully. Do not drive into that high water. If you are at home and you're
Well, those are some pretty colors. Oh, okay. Wow.
It looks like we're having some technical difficulties out there in Houston. Not terribly surprising. Forehead. The forehead shall be revealed. No, forehead doesn't want to be revealed. Okay. You go away. And now the forehead shall be revealed. Also, the fact that I'm a moron. But that was previously revealed. Okay. So, yeah, that's better. That little purdy in my face.
Oh, okay.
Come on. So, so a needle pulling thread. No. I guess I'm gonna have to find another source. Everybody pray for the people out there in Houston. It's starting to rain again. And
It should dissipate actually.
yeah, hopefully. But there's a lot of water already on the ground down there. And it's not disappearing anytime soon. Weather Channel Live by blank. Okay, HOU 11 is still offline. Review.
There are a lot of calls coming into 911, and many of them are not life-threatening. There are calls where, I understand the inconvenience, but they're not life-threatening. At the same time, there are many calls that are coming in that are life-threatening, and our first responders need to attend to them first. Okay? But everyone is important. Everyone is important in this city. Everyone we recognize have needs, and we are going to work together in order to address the needs that exist. And so we're augmenting the resources that we have. We're opening the shelters, and we'll continue to open as many shelters as we need. We're trying to open shelters, lily pads, close to the neighborhoods, close to the communities, so that in many instances people can walk to them. Just like the Cashmere Garden Library off of Lockwood and Pardee. There are seniors in that area. Water was coming in, but they could walk to that particular location, so we are opening up that Cashmere Garden Library, okay? And if necessary, in some cases when we don't have the keys, we simply open them up. They will open, okay? And so for the quality service centers, closer to the community,
this is Houston.
closer to neighborhoods, if people can walk to them, fine. We're opening up the George R. Brown. When we have a law, if people are living in a situation that's untenable and they're looking for shelter, certainly the George R. Brown will be available. So we will continue to make the rescues with the resources. So we are coming to you. Okay, we want people to know in this city, if you're there, there's a need, we will get to you. I would simply ask that you remain calm, remain a little patient, okay? But we will get to you. Yes.
Mayor, can you tell us people that do still have power to have water coming in that house
Well, if they have power and water still coming in, then it's usable. Okay? Our system is pretty good. I've got no word that our system that the water is in any way contaminated. I have received no indication a word that anything is not in good stead. Okay? Yes, sir.
Why was there no evacuation order, at least for the areas that are prone to flooding, prone to issue because of rain?
Well, the reality is this is unprecedented. There's a lot of rain. So which neighborhood would you have to evacuate? Quite frankly, every neighborhood, every community received water and flooded. Every bayou went over its banks.
So
you cannot put
everybody.
in the city of Houston 2.3 million people on the road. That is dangerous. For Houston, Harris County got a lot.
So you let them flood in place, huh?
When you combine Houston and Harris County, you literally cannot put 6.5 million people on the road.
And you couldn't plan out how to do it better.
It's bad. You give an order to evacuate, you are creating a nightmare, especially when it's not planned. And many of us in the city remember when the evacuation order was ordered before, and we learned our lesson from that. It has to be very well coordinated, all the way from Houston to the.
So why didn't you make a fucking plan?
You have proper gas stations. You have to make sure that you have the proper look of lanes that are flowing in the
Call
right
me,
direction.
I'll make the damn plan for you.
Coordinated. If you
Give me
do it,
5 minutes on the proper data.
It's not coordinated, not done right, you are literally putting people in harm's way, and you are creating a far worse situation. In this particular case, the hurricane, we were not in the direct line. Now, it is true, we anticipated a lot of rain, but the best places for people to be in their homes. Now, we've had a few fatalities. Every person is important, even if it's one. Every person is important. But let me tell you, you issue an evacuation order and you put everybody out on the highway, then you're really asking for a major
a few fatalities.
As a result of what's happening, if this arises again in the future?
Well, again, every storm is different. Every storm is different.
They're not snowflakes, motherfucker.
We've had an unprecedented amount of water. Last night, for example, you had water 3 and 4 inches.
Followed by an unprecedented amount of stupidity.
I don't care who you are. I don't care which city you're in. Okay, you are going to have flooding. And when it is continuous, as it was last night, over into this morning, you are going to have major flooding. Now, recognizing that, we can still manage the outcome. This is a large city. There are a lot of people. When the flooding is occurring all over the city, all over the county, there are not many places for you to go. The safest place is for you to be in your home. That's number one. That's the safest place for you to be, in your home. And so for those homes that are flooding and people are needing to be rescued, we're coming in that direction. What I also have said, for example, your home may be flooding, but next door your neighbor may be in a better situation. Their home may not be flooding. Okay, that is one instance. If you can safely get to your neighbor, then I would recommend that you go to your neighbor. Okay, but this is a situation where first responders, we all need to do our part. I certainly want to acknowledge and thank neighbors and Samaritans who have been out there and assisting as well. Quite frankly, it takes all of us. But the answer is not in mass to get in your car and to go someplace when you don't know where the storm is going. Please bear in mind, up until, but really, even now, no one knew where this storm was going. If you're going to San Antonio, you would have been running into water, into rain. If you're going to Austin, the same thing here. So the best approach was to stay in city, in the county, stay in your homes.
And then fucking rich people in Dallas that bribe the fuck out of me probably don't want y'all. So.
Good morning. First, I'd like to say that I want to acknowledge the efforts of the Houston Police Department, the Houston Fire Department, Public Works, all the municipal workers that were out last night, the Houston, the Independent School District, who also provided resources and worked tirelessly throughout the night to effect the rescues. I can tell you that in a 3-hour period after the rain started, we effected over 250 rescues, all of them in vehicles. And again, that's going to present itself again tonight. Stay off the roadways when we get heavy downpours. It's very difficult to see. It's very difficult to maneuver. Those low spots will disable your car, and then you are essentially a sitting duck. So when the rains get heavy, stay off the streets. Since midnight last night, we've responded to over 2,500 calls, and we have about 1,000 in the queue waiting to be serviced. So again, all the crews out last night and throughout the day have been working tirelessly to effect these rescues. They've delivered the service professionally, and we're going to get to every one of these calls. We're triaging. We have set up 4 area command centers, forward command centers, so they can make real-time decisions as far as prioritizing the rescues. And we're getting to each one of them. I want to thank Mayor Turner for his support in requesting the state services early. And it took some lag time, as it normally does, to get those resources in place. But now we have them here, and we're starting to deploy those to the areas of need. Yes, sir.
Good morning again, Ron Blom in the western southwest part of Houston. We've been listening to the briefing from the mayor and other officials. I think the main word that's coming from them is that all of Houston is covered like this part of Houston. There is no way to order an evacuation. If you put millions of people on the road, it would only make things worse. And they are asking people not to call 911 if they are not in a life-threatening situation, because those lines are being inundated. They're trying to reserve the 911 calls for those who truly need rescue. And there are people in Houston who truly need rescue. They were telling some residents in some apartment complexes near the bayous, if the flooding is getting to the second floor, go to the roof and await rescue. We are alongside Bayou Bray, and it was 2 or 3 feet deeper a little earlier this morning as we had those heavy bands going through here. We're underneath a Valero gas station, which has become a neighborhood refuge of sort. The water was a foot deep inside the station. They're pushing it out now and just wondering when this bayou will rise again. We've been having heavy rain for the past hour here. It had receded a little bit, but I've noticed on my boots it's come up an inch or more just since the mayor's news conference began. And the one telling thing is people come up to you, they see we're with the Weather Channel, and they say, when will it end? Is it going to end today? And when you say no, it's going to continue. These bands are continuing to come on shore. You just see this crestfallen look in their face. As you can see, the water just coming up. People are out in trying to stay a little bit dry, but they're knee-deep around this neighborhood. Mike Seidel is just a little bit down to the southwest of me in Richmond along the Brazos River, and I know that water is rising just as fast. Mike?
Hi, it is Rob Blum. In fact, the gauge forecast to go up about another 30 feet between now and tomorrow evening. That would take it from the action stage of 24 change now up to about 54, 55 feet. Now, that's just below the all-time record crest, which was set just last June of 2016. So if you were impacted by that crest 14 months ago, you will be impacted later tonight and tomorrow. That's why here in Fort Bend County, they've ordered asked for voluntary evacuation, I should say, of those of you near the Brazos River and also the San Bernard River. So those 2 rivers are coming up rapidly. All this water has to flow somewhere. So do those preparations now. I suspect, based on that river gauge forecast from NOAA, that there will be mandatory evacuations coming up at some point. Out here, the rain has, well, I say it's backed up a little bit. We're not getting the strong, striking downpours, but it's still very, very flooded out here in this intersection. It's all rolling across the street and down through the park, and then it ends up in the river across the street on that corner. We'll go back over there.
All right. So
here's the deal, folks. Storm's going to go back out to sea. It's going to build a little strength. Then it's going to come here. Then it's going to go down the Mississippi River. Kinda. Not up the Mississippi River. Down the Mississippi River. And it's going to go hit Florida. After what? Gaining strength. Then it's going to turn back around. And then guess what it's going to do after that? It's going to gain more strength. Then it's going to strafe the entire fucking Gulf Coast. But I'm not going to let it hit Houston again. Then it's going to go north and create a catastrophic flooding event again. So, yeah, me too. Oh, thanks, Carlos. You just made me remember the analogy I was trying to remember earlier. Huh. Brownie points for you. See, people don't understand God at all. Okay? They just don't. I mean, some of you guys might, obviously, but, you know. People. And when it comes to something like this, I know all the possible arguments against what I'm doing. Okay? What I want to know is, do you expect me to be sorry? Do you expect me to be sorry for being your parent? Excuse me. Was I supposed to speak in third person so I don't sound crazy? Do you expect God to be sorry for punishing you? Because to do that is basically to expect a parent to be sorry for punishing their children. And it's really just that simple. Now, you can make all the nuanced arguments you want, but don't think you understand anything about life and death either. So, do you want me to be sorry that you didn't listen to me? Hmm? Well, guess what? I am sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry. But I do not apologize. I'm sorry that you people are all morons and you don't know how to listen. You're unruly little children. Just rebellious. You don't know what's good for you. And again, you don't know how to listen. So you wind up somewhere between lackadaisical and self-destructive. And it's not going to last. You know what Russian intelligence is observing right now? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Do you need me to tell you? In fact, I'm going to wait in the comments for somebody to guess. Anybody? Anybody? What do you think Russian intelligence is observing right now? We have no takers? Dear, would you care to guess
I'm sorry,
what Russian intelligence is observing about the United States right now? You know, not even related to Donald Trump per se. Just logistically, tactically.
That we're morons that don't know how to plan for shit. That we would rather leave our people at home to die than have our freeways be clogged up with people trying to get out of harm's way.
Yeah, I can fix that too. I can fix that. How poor our educational process is. With about 3 days of consulting.
Evacuation.
1 day for each level of education.
Evacuation.
Oh. Education. Oh. Evacuation.
Pudding pops. I'm not even wearing my glasses.
Good thing you didn't say the other word that sounds like the other two. So anyways, I didn't think Americans had a problem there.
Well, I mean, you know, there was a recent study.
Not since Viagra was...
Shooting blanks, shooting blanks.
Alright, so, anyways. Make this bigger. Oh, look, we're bigger now. Check us out. They call me Old Big Head. And by they, I mean the people in the ghetto that just flooded. Sorry. No, it wasn't because of that, though. They didn't vote for Trump. I don't care. Call me Old Big Head all you want. Don't fart. Well, pretty close, Carlos. It's not so much about how much weird movement. It's about how much overall movement. Not that they can detect, because it's not that hard to figure out what's going on. Okay. They intercept all of our raw streams from, like, reporters to news agency. They're intercepting this one right now, you know? Free will, dumbasses, equals this.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that they knew it was that the hurricane was gonna hit. At least they were at least predicting a 3. A 3 is what Katrina was.
So if we weren't a bunch of grabastic fuckity fucks and knew that at least somewhere in a broad, expansive area there was going to be Raintastrofuck 2017 hashtag Raintastrofuck 2017. What's the very least they could have done? That Russia has now observed that we don't really have much capability of doing, at least not on a decisive basis. And, decisive is going to be a word that's going to be used a whole lot very shortly. It's pointing at me. It's pointing at me on the TV. Trump.
No, those are Ukrainian eyeballs.
Yay, an Ukrainian island. Ukrainian. It's a Ukrainian island. Okay. Texas, like many other states, I'm finally answering the question. Okay. Texas, like many other, states of America, have this little thing called a National Guard. Okay? Okay. National Guard has these things called high water vehicles. Okay? Okay. So, what does one do when there is a vast swath of territory to be imminently inundated with torrential downpour? Pray tell? Well, you call up the fucking National Guard, and you have a bunch of high water vehicles deploy throughout the region. Thus indicating to Russia that we're capable of mounting some sort of a defense of a major fucking city. Or two, or many. Well, not that we have many cities. Numerous. Little tiny baby cities.
Itty bitty living space.
Like where we live. Oh. Rain-tastafuck 20... Rain-tastrafuck, yes. Rain-tastrafuck 2017. Beautiful. Okay, so... let me see what is going on.
Brandon, this is a great day.
I think maybe KPRC's on, but we'll see. No. That's Florida. NBC2. KPRC TV2 is Channel 2, Houston. They have great weather service, but...
Because you've been seeing all these images, different perspectives. This is it live on television. Behind me is the on-ramp to I-45. And notice that sign for the truckers. 13 feet, 11 inches.
From him. We're also hearing from the Rosenberg Police Department, road closures.
Back with KHOU.
We'll let you know about those, because I know a lot of you will see daylight. You think you can be on the move if there's not flooding just outside your door, but around the corner, down the street. We know that's definitely a possibility. In the case of Rosenberg, we're talking about, this is Highway 59, I-69 at Reading Road, and then Highway 90 at Highway 36. Those are areas you need to watch out for. We were watching the Coast Guard with a helicopter rescue out in Dickinson. Our Kevin Reese was following that. We want to check back in with him to see what's going on out there. Kevin?
Hey, I want to show you a new scene. This is Dickinson Bayou. At least as Dickinson Bayou runs completely down FM 517, we are standing on I-45 looking down. This is FM 517, which is a river now as it races off to the Houston Ship Channel. This is a road I've been on too many times to count. And as you look in the distance, well, the traffic lights somehow still work, but you can see all the way down the street here just how deep this water is by the cars that are parked along the curb, the cars that have not been swept away, but that are still there. When we came to you live a little while ago, the Coast Guard helicopter that was hovering overhead, this is the area, these are the neighborhoods that they were working in and that they will continue to work in. Also, several airboats have now gone into this neighborhood. Several other boats from the Galveston County Sheriff's Department have also gone in, and evacuations are underway right now. We hope to be on one of those boats in a little while, but this is an amazing scene. Water several feet deep on FM 517. You're looking into Dickinson. We can only imagine just how deep the water is all the way back in there. Now, Josh, if you want to break off and let's come on over here, I want you to look north on I-45. Go ahead, I got you. North on I-45, and this is also where Dickinson Bayou is spilling into and blocking both lanes of I-45. Rescues also underway there by the cars that were stranded, and people are stranded in their cars here. But if you can see in the distance, this is the second section that is completely blocked by the overflow of Dickinson Bayou. Both sides of I-45, you're not going to get past this. We can see some cars with their lights flashing. There's another car sideways deep into the water out there. And this is where people are stranded trying to get to and from the Dickinson area. Every now and then, I don't mean to see people walking.
That's from earlier.
All right, show me. My photographer, Josh Stevens, can see a little farther than I can with his lens, but people are walking in this water out here. They've got cars stranded. They're trying to get out. Some of the rescues have been happening here. Again, you're looking at I-45, looking north toward downtown Houston.
Oh, that's not live anymore. For fuck's sake. So wait a minute. Hold on. Ha ha ha. Huh. It says stream 17 minutes ago.
You're not going to get past this. We can see some cars with their lights flashing. There's another car sideways deep into the...
All right, so they're at their 2-hour window. But look, they got cut off. Oh, now they're back live?
We've left our families, and we've emotional. We've left our families behind for days, and have been living at KHOU, sleeping on the floor on cots. And you know, that doesn't prove we stand for Houston as a team. For Len, Mia, Dave, Cheetah, Blake, Brooks, we just haven't slept for days, and we're here to serve all our community because this is what we do. It's a public service. You need us. So we are asking all of our crews that I even talked to, our people. I hope our KHOU team is watching us. We need you to do Facebook Live, stay on social media, letting our
Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Audience know what is going on, you know, ensuring your safety. We are here for you, maybe not on the television screen, but we are here for you on all the other screens to serve you, ask questions. You can find all of us on social media. All right. Way to go, team. Yeah. We're here. We are here, and to just echo their sentiments, that's what we do. We stand for Houston. This is our city too, whether we're a native or we've been here for a couple of years. It's important to us to make sure that all of our friends, neighbors, viewers who are our family are safe and informed as well too. We weren't planning on leaving our building, but we're fortunate enough that we did have a plan and we could evacuate safely. And we want you to stick close to Facebook and to Twitter and to all of the KHOU 11 platforms.
So yeah, they have evacuated the news tower KHOU, which is off of 45. I think either 55 or 45. Near 55 and 45, off of one of them. But it's like right off the highway in like the middle of the freaking city. And they went from the bottom floor to the top floor, and then they just evacuated the building.
I'll say the reason why we're walking down this hall isn't to show you the beauty of it. It's to show you the proximity that we are to the station and looking out the window. The tower. Yes, you can see the KHOU tower. That tower that's lights up at night that everyone sees with our call letter. So what we had to do when water came rushing into our building, we had to evacuate. We safely walked over a couple of blocks and we're here. We're all accounted for, and we just want to express our gratitude to not only our leadership team, but the reporters out in the field who, while we were making this very, busy transition, they were still bringing you the information from different live locations. And bless their heart, poor Brady Smith, she was out there live, and I think we had to let her know that we were exiting the building, we were having to evacuate the building, and I think that was difficult news to hear. We're family, that's for sure. We spend a lot of time together. It's just a regular alarm here. We spend a whole lot of time together because of events like this, so we definitely know how to work as a team and support each other and come together. So we're going to be all right. Like I said, stay on your social media platforms. We're going to be there just like we're bringing you Facebook Lives, and we're on Twitter as well. We're still following and receiving the most current pertinent information for you because we still got a ways to go.
And just to remind everybody, please stay close to KHOU.com. We have a team of producers. We're part of a large company that promises to update our website all afternoon and evening with all the news of the day and what's happening around the state of Texas. We're part of a large company and very proud to work for a company like Tegna, who really invests in our community and invests in our audience and bringing the news to you in so many different ways. And that team is now stepping up to help us serve you until we get back on the air. So log on to KHOU.com, download the KHOU 11 mobile app. On the app, you'll find over 40 different radars, and you can track the radar and what's happening in your community as Hurricane Harvey moves through.
That voice you're hearing, by the way, that's Christine Castadio. She's the head of our digital initiative. So all those things she just told you about, she heads up for our station here in Houston. So we're going to stay on top of it. You just heard her, and you can stay connected. So please do so. Okay, and most importantly.
All right, well, we'll head back into the room with David Paul. Head count for food. That's the important thing, Mia.
Important.
Right? So again, we're at the Federal Reserve. This was the team that was at KHOU before one of our transformers went down, and our first floor was getting flooded. And we knew at that moment when David Paul said, it's time to evacuate, we evacuated. And right next door to KHOU 11 News is the Federal Reserve Building. And they so graciously invited us to come over and set up a television studio. And as soon as the KHOU 11 engineers are able to put that studio together, we will get back on the air so we can continue to bring you reports from all over the coast. So we're back with our meteorologists, and they're talking to our news director, Sally, right now. And we'll get back and maybe answer a few questions. Yes.
We're going to go live from here. Yeah, we're going to transfer the studio now. I wanted to show you what our lobby looked like as we walked out.
Let's get really close to that, Sally, and show our viewers.
So the water was just gushing in, and there's our lobby chairs floating, which is really sad. This is what it looked like just minutes before. I happened to go out there earlier to just see. I'm going to play this. I hope they can hear it. Yeah, that's oh my gosh.
Holy crap, that was loud.
Turn the volume off on the phone.
Be surreal. That was a pretty scary moment.
We cover a lot of stories like this, and we do. And now we're the story.
Yes, but we have to continue really to report for our audience. That's what we do as journalists. We serve our community. Really, these are the times, and I truly mean that. You know, as you know, Christine, I haven't been to bed since I don't know when.
4 days.
Yeah. We do need to check on our people, but what we did is that we were evaluating the situation, and this morning, when we learned that, you heard our general manager Susan say, our meteorologist said we need to get out. It's safety first. Practice what you preach. I tell all our crews all the time, safety first. Nothing's more important than your safety. And it's hard because people left behind a lot of belongings at the station, and we don't know what it's going to look like when we come back. You know, it's a little hard, and our vehicles in the parking lot were completely, some were completely underwater.
Reporters who were out in the field,
covering the story for our community and their vehicles behind. So it was hard. Some of them calling me in tears because their vehicles are so important to them. And I just, you know, said, remember what we say. It's just, we take care of you. Don't worry about it. We have to, I'm sorry. We care about our employees. We care about our people. And we always try and take precautions as we cover the story for our audience as much as we can. So we're taking roll call to make sure everyone is safe.
just pan the room here and show everybody the Federal Reserve is being so kind. And we are in the Federal Reserve because KHOU 11 was evacuated, and you can see right here we were spending several nights at KHOU covering Hurricane Harvey. So there's our pile of luggage, and we're committed to, once we get on air, continue bringing the news and reports to you. KHOU still has several field crews up and down the coast covering the track of Hurricane Harvey. So we have a lot of news to bring to you and a lot of great stories. So we're just painting the room right now. All right.
Come on, you're barely making a difference, man. Save your gas.
So KHOU 11 News is right now in the Federal Reserve Building. We did evacuate our studio because we were encountering a lot of flooding, and we had to get out because it just wasn't safe. So when David Paul, Chief Meteorologist David Paul, said it's time to evacuate, we got together, we supported one another, and we evacuated. We called our friends over at the Federal Reserve. They opened up their arms graciously and let us in their building. So we're very glad to be here. Our team of engineers are currently working to set up a mini studio here so we can broadcast live to you very shortly. So as soon as we get that together, we'll be back on the air, and you'll be able to stream us on KHOU.com and on the KHOU 11 mobile app. So this is a team of producers and directors and writers and digital and editors who are just waiting to bring the news to you. So let's scan the room here again. See what's going on. Producer who actually came in from our station in Jacksonville to help with Hurricane Harvey coverage.
Yes, unfortunately I have a little experience with this last year. We had Hurricane Matthew in Jacksonville, and we had to have very similar conversations that we've had here at KHOU about whether we would have to evacuate our building. So this is a very familiar repeat for me, and we're all safe. We're all.
Yeah, don't take the weight of the world, but it would be nice if I had a little help with it on my shoulders and all.
Can you get information for me? We are still monitoring a lot of official sources. We have access to information from the school district. We understand the Houston Independent School District is closed for the week. Is the information we've been getting in lately. We're seeing information coming in from the National Weather Service. new tornado warning just came in the last 38 seconds for Adeline, Texas.
Adeline, yes.
The National Weather Service just put that tornado warning out right there.
Isn't technology great?
So we're able to get you this information as we're getting it here at KHOU.
And on our social channels.
And we're sharing it all on our social channels. If you don't have the KHOU app, that's the must-have app right now. I can tell you, when you lose power, you want to make sure you're able to get to your KHOU app, because we're going to be live streaming. We're going to have critical information for you.
We have over 40 live radar views. We have tips on hurricanes. We have flooding.
All right, and we're back.
Oh,
Absolutely. So we've got a team both here.
I'm gone.
And
Hi, everybody.
We're getting information to our KHOU app right now.
We had a friend over here while we were gone, and they left right before we got home. So Kira's going to pick up Zaki. I just gonna get a break with the whole obstructions in the background thing. Huh? All right. So earlier, my hat is off. Hold on. Let me get my hat on. Hats off to the girl in the rain in the red windbreaker who was walking that highway. Ballsy to begin with, but for flagging down that truck and getting that rescue done, good job.
Right, she deserves a medal for that.
I mean, the reporting, definitely a fucking award-winning report.
They had nowhere that they could go because on either side of them, they were blocked in just on top of that freeway right there because there was water behind them.
She ought to get a medal from the mayor.
That
she ought to get
like a city.
Right. I don't know about all that, but she ought to get like a medal of commendation from the mayor.
Well, I mean, you heard that officer.
A civilian honor from the police department, something like that.
You heard that officer say that that the last flood that they had, that trucker died on the other side. The same damn thing. Nobody knew he was there, and by the time they did, it was too late.
Right. But people need to wake up to the value of the respectful traditions that we once had. And remember, just like the common threads that we all share, especially in this country. And making sure that good deeds go rewarded ceremoniously helps the overall mental psyche of the entire community. That's, that's called positive role models. Okay, don't just mention them in passing. Do a freaking profile on the local cop or the local school teacher or whatever. That shit never got old. But they stopped doing it on a lot of these Sinclair groups because it's not part of divide and conquer. Anyways, I don't know about KHOU. They seem like nice people.
Did you show them my flare?
And I hope everybody prays for them, that they stay safe and keep it together and stay strong mentally so that they can keep helping out. Because in a disaster situation like this, it's the news that provides the core communication and observation for all the emergency response.
Did you show them my flare?
Oh, you want to show them your flare?
I got flare.
Yeah, strafe it on the camera. You want to see my flare?
This is my flare.
This is my So yes, these are buttons from Magna. Just all kinds of crap. I can't read it. You can't read it. But it's cool. I don't know. There's Rot's food.
The one on the bottom is my favorite.
Oh, what's that? ORA. Sweet.
Alright. Okay. Alright, y'all. I gotta go because the weather's about to get pretty shitty over here. So I'm gonna go and get my key and bring my butt back to the house.
Yeah, Rip's come back here, check, make sure the grass is cut. It seems he was satisfied. He didn't stay long.
Yeah, it was so funny. The neighbor told me that he looked like he was about to get that dirt mound down. And then I passed it the other day, and it's like he rolled over just the corner of it with the lawnmower and then said, "Fuck it, that mound is still there." It's hilarious to me. All right.
You want to text him? Tell him if he buys me a shovel and a can of gas and a full can of gas, I will go and shovel that shit for him.
They're supposed to replace the shovel.
Yeah, it was an old shovel.
I love you.
I love you.
Principal.
Alright, so anyways, let's see if this is real TV. No, this is fake TV. That's real TV. Well, that's YouTube, so it's kind of fake. It's fake real. It's realistic fake TV.
You wanna know why we don't hear him anymore?
Why?
His fucking lawnmower's stuck over by the woods right there. And he brought the tractor to come pull the lawnmower out. Him and Nancy are over there. I'm sorry. It's hilarious because I always tell him it's too wet to cut the grass.
Ask him if he needs my help. Or if they can hear you.
They're not gonna be able to hear me. They got the tractor on. That's what that sound is.
Yeah, I hear it now. We can take my lawnmower out there and make a daisy chain like a lifeline, you know. Boom! His mower is much nicer than mine, though. He's got a bad boy, which is one that's made, I think it's made in Louisiana. And, it's a bad boy. It's one of them zero radius ones, got pretty freaking powerful motor, dual blade, fast. Don't take no time for him to just run around and just cut the shit out of the grass. I mean, he cuts it low too, low. Looks like it's running again. Sounds like it's running again. I wasn't looking with my ears. Alright. So, I'm just looking for some fresh radar. There's some random secondary broadcast or something. But they're not. It's a fake channel. They're like they're pirating somebody else's weather broadcast, and they're no. Sometimes they're best said in words that your brain can't even understand, so no. Anyways, that's like a secondhand broadcast where they've cut the logo out of whoever's programming it is. So that's an illegal YouTube channel there, as far as I can tell. I don't know, it looks like some foreign fucking network. What the hell?
University Place area. This storm is moving from south to north. This is north of Fresno. Strong storms moving through this region. This is the southwest of the Houston metro area. And again, we're seeing these threats today. We're likely going to be seeing multiple tornado warnings here. Strong winds likely in place with these systems. And it appears our screen may have frozen here. So just to give you some context, we're expecting this
region to have multiple spin-ups of storms in the downtown
Fresno?
area. We've also seen tornado warnings for the Belmont area as well. So north of the city, we have a stationary band, or essentially a band oriented from the south to the north that is showing these brief spin-ups of storms.
Yeah, it looks like it's just on to the southwest side of the 610, again, southwest of Houston, but it is very close to the Beltway, and it's going to be coming into the same spot up around Bel Air, Hunters Creek, and even towards Rice University. So those are some spots that we need to be on the lookout, and certainly anywhere just west of Houston for that possible tornado to come through. So again, there you see the freeway out there. I think that's Interstate 69. It might be, 69, I think right there. That is that interstate that just to the west of Houston that could see this possible tornado come through. And we've had a lot of wind damage from these storms just to the east.
Another fucking show. Just for the disaster. Yeah. So there's just a straight rain on that. God, they're getting hammered. There's more rain pouring down on Texas than there is land in Louisiana. On that bombshell.
It's time to end. Thanks for watching, everybody. Pray for them out there in Texas. And it's on its way here, so people around here could use your prayers too. Above all else, whatever lesson it is that everybody might be missing, pray that they learn it. Peace.
nobody begging no more.
You know what?
Pouring into the truck, into
They
the
uploaded it.
They uploaded the video from where it cut off earlier. So I guess before I kill the broadcast, I'll show old boy getting rescued. Oh look, I think.
Flowing in there. All of those items in that truck right now are floating because of the amount of water that's pouring into the truck, into the cab. The driver's on the other side. We've got the boat coming down. It looks like it's going to put in right down here at the exit for Albany Westfield, which is now a boat ramp. It's no longer a freeway exit. It's a boat ramp for rescue crews. Hopefully they can get to him. It looks like he's okay for now. I think he's hanging on the edge of the window on the other side, sitting there waiting it out. But what could have been a deadly situation. This fella could have ended up like the driver last year who lost his life at this intersection of Beltway 8 and Hardy Toll Road. It looks like they're getting the boat in there, backing it in there. Just listening for any updates from the station. Again, KHU 11, the studio has been evacuated. The building has been still loading the boat into the water here along Beltway 8. Maybe break. And based on what we're seeing right now, it just doesn't seem like we're going to get that break that the bayou so desperately needs. We are right near Green Bayou, which is just up that way. I don't have the data in front of me. I can't look at the Harris County Flood Control website. But based on what we're seeing here, it's safe to say it's broken its banks. Water's flowing out of there. Not to mention all the water that's coming from the sky and pooling. It's going to the lowest place it can. It's just going to keep flowing. When we were on the other side, you could see how fast that water was moving. That kind of flow is like a river, a very, very strong current. Checking on our friend in the truck here. The good news, he's crawling over to the other side here. Hold on. He's asking. Sir, they're putting the boat in just now. They're on their way. I cannot imagine how terrifying it would be to be stuck right there, right now. Put yourself in that. The boat into the water, wondering if they're going to have to back up a little more. If you are driving in what appears to be a safe spot, as a lot of them actually did, headed west here on Beltway 8, they were just cruising along. Well, you pop over that hill, and on the other side are cars lined up because they can't go. One, don't go out.
Okay, so
do not drive.
Never mind. We just got to cut off. Suppose we'll have to keep keep an eye out for that later. See if they manage to get it. Didn't mean to tease.
I'm not sure what.
Why is it still playing?
What they can do. I've lost. Sorry, just a moment. The good news is though, that boat is approaching. Even as the conditions worsen, the rain pours down. We're seeing the stream of water cascading down Beltway 8 here. Again, a thank you to everyone who has stayed with us through what has been a first of its kind experience for the KHOU crew. Our team back at the station, which is on Allen Parkway, evacuating the building because of more than 2 feet of water that has come in. That's our studio, our lobby, our newsroom, all of it. You know, it's hard not to think about my desk there and my pictures of my daughters, depending on how high that water gets. You know, I don't know if those are going to make it, but they're, in the scheme of things, very trivial. They are items, and that's a reminder for folks too. Yes, you have stuff in your house. Yes, it probably means a lot to you. Family pictures, family heirlooms. Nothing is more valuable than your life and the lives of your family members, those you love, your friends. We're still kind of in a holding pattern on this boat as it makes its way. If you can hear that, that is the airboat firing up. We're hoping headed this direction. There he's getting on course. I suspect they probably had to load up with rescue gear. Here they come. Talking to, or hearing from Chief Art Acevedo earlier this morning, again hours ago. He was talking about hundreds of rescues, 500 rescues across the city. The ones we witnessed in the Greens Point area involved, you know, a much smaller boat, HPD dive team crews going apartment to apartment, trying to get anyone who flagged them down. This is a harrowing situation for everyone, for first responders, for folks who are trapped in cars, for folks who are trapped in their homes. And I'm going to say honestly, even for the crews, the news crews who are out here showing you the conditions, sometimes we get flack because yes, we are out in it. We are doing the things we're telling you not to do. We do it so that we can show you how bad the conditions are so you do not attempt them. I want to say a very sincere thank you to our managers who have done their best to keep us out of danger when we've been in dangerous situations. They've told us to leave immediately. Here we go. The airboat for the Harris County Sheriff's Office now approaching the semi that has been stalled here, headed east or headed westbound in the eastbound lane. They're trying to navigate, like I said, a very narrow channel here to get to the window of the cab so that they can get to the driver who is inside. I don't have any word on how long he's been there or what kind of condition he's in. I'm sure he's very, very wet, very cold, very frightened. I am terrified for him. Okay, I can't imagine the level of fear he has here. But kudos, incredible kudos to these 2 sheriff's deputies who are risking themselves on this boat in very deep water to pull this driver to safety. We want to thank all first responders who are out there, who are doing the same, who are risking their lives. These deputies, they weren't on their way here. Thank goodness they were in the right place at the right time. I saw them coming on Beltway 8. I flagged them down, told them about the situation, and now they are here saving this man's life. See him throwing some of his stuff to them. Anything dry. I'm sure there's not a lot dry left in that cab. feel like I can finally breathe. Kind of a sigh of relief. That he is okay. And his fate will not be the same as the man who lost his life here a year ago in almost the same situation. Semi-driver going into high water, not knowing just how deep we could get in this area. And who's to say if rescue crews weren't here, these guys didn't stop, that his story would be different. So thank you to everyone out there, all police, all fire, all sheriff's deputies, any other agencies who are out there, neighbors who are taking in neighbors, who are helping folks who get stranded. Thank you.
Here, here.
We're going to see if we might be able to talk to him as they make their way back down here. I imagine he is going through a cycle of emotions right now. It has become they got it. Sir, thank God you're okay. How does it feel to be on land?
Wonderful, wonderful.
What went through your mind when you saw that water?
Lord help me. Lord help me. Lord help me. Yeah, get me out of here safe.
I'm so glad these guys were on hand, that we were able to direct them to you. Did they tell you this is the same spot a year ago where another driver died?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I just thank God that you guys was right here to get me, put me back on land safe. I just appreciate it.
Can I hug you? I'm so happy you're okay. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay dry. The best possible outcome there. This fella, now on the ground. Where will you go now? Are you guys gonna take him somewhere?
That looked like a no. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thanks once again, y'all. Peace.